All right.
Think I can join?
Yeah. That's right. Mondays. Not a lot of Monday swearings.
Good morning. I got Monday, January 19th, 2026 in the Chickasaw County Courthouse Boardroom. Called the meeting to convene. Roll call. All members are present along with Board Secretary Sheila Shackleton. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda, the 19th, as presented?
So. Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Isaac to approve today's agenda that was published Friday. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Approved minutes from last Monday, January 12th. Any corrections? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve to approve the January 12th board minutes. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Approved minutes from Tuesday, January 13th.
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Isaac to approve the January 13th Board of Supervisors minutes. Any discussion? Just do a roll call. No, Steve.
Aye.
Isaac.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Travis. Jake. Aye. Motion is carried 4-0 with Travis abstaining. We got a minute yet before public comments, so I don't think anybody signed in anyway, but only if we need Roman on this. Review letter of support for determination made on Iowa DOT consent statement form 517001, section 10, regarding the Ackerson Eslin Eastern property and approved signature by board chair. So this is that bridge. The letter's up on the screen. You guys have got a picture. Pretty much, we support it as a board of supervisors. Just needs a letter of support from us on this bridge project coming up. You guys can see the application if you want to see it. And then the picture of the map was given to you guys in the packet. Is there a motion to approve letter of support?
I'll move to approve with board chair signature.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Travis to approve the letter of support for determination made by the Iowa DOT consent statement, authorized chair signature. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion is carried. All right. Any public comment that signed in?
No. Oh, sorry.
That's all good. I'm just trying to keep organized.
I'll stick it over there then. too.
We got that done. Review and approve Chickasaw County publication report for payroll reasons. This is due to the paper by January 31st. You guys saw the list. Seems like it climbs every year with new staff. It's 3 pages this year. I don't see nothing wrong. I do like the bottom explaining the benefit stuff, so people and the taxpayers of Chickasaw County can see that is just their base published, and then there's benefits listed below. Is there a motion to approve the publication of Chickasaw County employees' wages for calendar year 25?
So.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Isaac to approve the Chickasaw County publication report for the 2025 payroll. Any discussion?
You have this.
We stand for it, yeah. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Investigator on call, the applications were due Friday by 4. I believe we only have one that was submitted. Conrad Rosendahl, filled out a Chickasaw County application. Education's there, experience is there. I guess it's up to the board if we want to have, number 5. MEI. I think Joel, as our interim manager of this agency department, we manage it. He runs the day-to-day operation of it. You guys heard what he had to say a couple weeks ago. Really no more expense. Just that now we would have 5 on a rotation at the Sheriff's Dispatch Center. 2 are within county salaries, and then 3 would be the $250 per call plus mileage. This one would be the 3rd in-house employee.
Make a motion to approve hiring Conrad Rosendahl, medical examiner, investigator, in the county.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Scott, to approve the hiring of a medical examiner investigator, Conrad Rosendahl. Any discussion? I guess my only thing is, I don't know when he'll get on the schedule then. I think this month was already full, so maybe he'll get in a rotation in February then. So that'll be up to Joel and the dispatch center to get this one then on rotation.
So do we have an effective date?
Effective today,
Yeah, okay.
but he probably, like I said, he won't be on the schedule this month, just because that schedule's out. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed? Motion is carried. Got 9:10, first agenda item with a time slot, helping services for youth and families. Executive Director Carlson Eaglin, budget request, good morning.
Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, morning. I just brought a newsletter for you guys to have for your records as well. This is a semi-annual newsletter we put out every 6 months. There's some things in here that we don't do in Chickasaw County, but it gives you a good flavor for kind of the everything that's going on, helping services. Yep. So here again, asking the county to consider a funding request for our domestic abuse resource center services here in Chickasaw County. Sometimes I'll have Trish Johnson here with me. Trish is our advocate in the county. Unfortunately, we don't have enough funding for one advocate for all 7 counties we serve. So Trish does help out in Howard County as well. Certainly appreciate the space that you allow Trish to use in the county. That's a big help. Trish is also bilingual, which is helpful. Really, things continue to be, I guess, steady here in the county. I mean, typically Trish serves between anywhere 15 to 25 clients a year. I know that may not sound like a lot, but you have to remember too, our services are completely voluntary. So, someone has to choose to work with us. We can provide options, information. We do get a lot of calls into our 24/7 line. Sometimes those calls are simply for like referrals. So I presume that we do chat with more folks in Chickasaw County. We don't track the counties served when the calls come in. But Trish typically works with that number of clients kind of on a one-on-one basis. Something that's new that's coming up that I think we're excited for is we're going to add a text option for people to get a hold of us. More and more people are texting these days. So we've always had our chat function on our website. We've always had phone option. This will this will be a new option, which I think will definitely help just. Really what we do, what Trish does is, yeah, again, work with folks on kind of what works best for their situation. We do have some housing funds available. These funds can help with that as well. You may or may not know that there's the shelter in Waverly had fire this fall. So Friends of the Family has a shelter in Waverly that had a fire. So we haven't been able to obviously send people down there as needed. We've seen a few more housing requests this fall through the winter, so I presume that'll continue. I'm also excited that we did get a new federal grant this fall, our transitional housing grant. So we can provide a rent up for roughly a year for clients. So they're still approving our final budget and final policies, so that should get started any day now. But we're excited to have that as another option as well for housing needs for individuals. David, anything you want to add in terms of how you interact with our?
Yeah, no, I can't speak highly enough for you, your team, your staff, and your organization. So, I mean, we use Trish regularly. She probably marks down 15 to 20 that she's actually providing services to, but almost probably the majority of the protected parties that we see in domestic violence cases that are criminal cases, and then also domestic violence cases that are civil cases, because there's a way to get court order from the civil case as well. She's involved with, and we send referrals to her all the time for folks that are considering dropping no contact orders or how their criminal case might play out. So she's very responsive. I think you hit the nail on the head. One of the huge things is she speaks Spanish as well, which we're seeing a huge uptick in the number of cases that involve Spanish speakers. So that's a huge benefit as well. But we rely on her quite a bit. She does a lot of our victim witness stuff, keeps in touch with us, and we almost always refer folks over to her. So I'm hopeful they're taking advantage of it. Thank you for the service you provide.
Yeah, thanks, David, and certainly have a close relationship with law enforcement as well. So really anything the county can do, we appreciate. I know a few years ago we asked for an increase to $5,000. That's fantastic if you can keep doing that. But certainly know that there's a lot going on in the county too. So that's our request. Anything you can do, we appreciate. Do you guys have any questions, I guess?
I don't have any, just going through your board of directors, you have a local
Yes.
resident.
Yep, wanted to mention that. So I've been in helping services about 11 years now. We've always had someone in the county. Before Kim, Hennessy was down in Kubish. And so Kim's probably in her 4th year, maybe on her board. We'll hope to continue that for years to come. I think it's important that, acknowledging that our main office is in Decorah. That's my main office. I think it's important to make sure that we have participation from all the counties and our board of directors as well. That definitely helps me out too. So Kim's been great. And she couldn't be here either. Trish couldn't be here either. So they say hello, but
We're good.
Yep. So.
Yeah, we'll put this in the whole overall budget. And, yeah, we support this. I don't think any of us have any opposition against this.
Okay. Any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. So
Yep.
thanks, Sheila.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we got 9:15 here. We got a lot of stuff in this time slot, just because it's very important that we do this by Iowa code. So at 9:15, we published a notice of a public hearing today on proposed amendment number 2 to the CWEC Urban Renewal Plan. So I guess our first step is to have a motion to open the public hearing.
Cool.
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Isaac, to open a public hearing on the proposed amendment number 2 to the CWEC Urban Renewal Plan. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Travis.
Aye.
Isaac.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Jake. Aye. Motion is carried. We are in a public hearing. Some stuff we need to go through this. Let me find the documents from the attorney.
Okay.
So we first set the date on December 22nd for this public hearing. But before then, we had to send out consultation letters to any affected taxing entities. Sheila has done that. We held the consultation meeting on December 30th at 1:00 in the boardroom. Present was myself and Sheila. We were in session for 5 minutes and nobody came to visit with us. So,
And can I just,
yep,
and I did give you guys the consulting packet, so you've seen everything that we
it
went through.
was, yep, and I was a witness to all this. It was sent out to all the cities that are affected with this, the school districts. So on that December 30th, in that consultation meeting, we did not receive any written recommendations from the schools or the cities at that time. And I still, that is true today, that there is no written comments,
No written comments.
no public comments today. Anything from the board? Have you heard anything on the change in the urban renewal plan? The only change that we are voting on or looking at today is B-22 project from $2 million, and we went up to $3 million. Any concerns from the public that you guys heard about changing that urban renewal plan for that said project of B-22? If not,
So there's a lot of public.
yeah. So we're gonna go out of public hearing if nobody else has any public comments on the urban renewal plan amendment number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Steve to end the public hearing on the proposed amendment number 2. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Travis? Steve?
Aye.
Isaac?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake? Aye. Motion is carried to end the public hearing at 9:19. So then, the next thing on the agenda then is to discuss and approve resolution 1/19/2506, a resolution determining an area of the county to be an economic development in blighted areas, and that the rehabilitation and conservation and redevelopment, development, or a combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of the public health, safety, welfare of the residents of the county, designating such area as appropriate for the urban renewal projects, and adopt the amendment number 2 to the CWEC urban renewal plan. You guys have a copy of this resolution. Any concerns with resolution 6? Inside that resolution, it does set, nope, that's the next agenda. I'm sorry. So this is just adopting what just happened at the public hearing.
Amendment number 2.
This is specifically to amendment number 2 of the plan. Is there a motion to approve resolution 6?
I'll move to approve resolution 6.
Second.
Resolution 1-19-25-06 was approved, moved by Scott, second by Steve. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Scott?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Isaac?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Resolution's been adopted.
So just start that from-
So that is the urban renewal plan. It is finished at this time for amendment number 2. that conclude the urban renewal plan amendment, I believe?
Yep, it does. That would go into the page.
Yep. The next thing is then review and approve an authorized chair signature of Chickasaw County, Iowa. Ayers and Cooney PC Bond Council Engagement Agreement, proposed insurance of not to exceed a $3 million general obligation capital loan note, series 2026. This, you guys all got this too. It's a 8-page document from the bond council, specifically on that said project of B22, not to exceed $3 million. Just to bring it to your attention, it is a fee not to exceed $18,300 from the start of today until we get the bond sold. The notes signed and dated, bank closing. This will come out of that bond proceedings. Any questions about the engagement letter with bond counsel on the proposed insurance of not to exceed $3 million general obligation capital note? The date of 2026 is just an ongoing, easy accounting to figure out which urban renewal plan project we are working on.
I'll make a motion to approve, authorize Kirsten.
Is there a second? Sorry. Motion by Travis, second by Scott, to approve and authorize chair signature on the engagement agreement, proposed insurance not to exceed $3 million with Avers and Cooney PC for the bond council. Any discussion? Let's do a roll call. Travis?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Isaac?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Jake? Aye. Motion is carried. Since that is set now, we need to look at resolution 7. Resolution 1/1926-7 is a resolution fixing the date for a meeting on proposed proposition to authorize a loan agreement and the insurance of notes to evidence the obligations of the county thereunder. Trying to find that resolution.
Oh, there it is.
So these are all prepared by Jason and his team. The date is fixed then, if this is approved, on February 9th. I believe we can visit with Roman, but I think the letting is the week after, so we will know a firm number of the project bids. But we're trying to have this before we open up bids, so we have the authority to go out for debt. So this one is scheduled for February 9th. Fixing a date on the position to authorize a loan agreement. So we might not have the interest rate and all of the terms like we did last time, but we need to have this before we enter into a contract with a bidder. So resolution 1/1926-07, fixing a date for a meeting on February 9th. Any questions, concerns? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 1/1926-7.
Is there a second?
Second.
That letting date is February 17th.
Perfect. Thanks very much. I knew that was set in stone already, so. Didn't know the date. Any other discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call on resolution 1/1926-07, fixing the date of the meeting of February 9th. Roll call, Travis.
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Isaac.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Jake. Aye. Motion, resolution is adopted. That's nice.
These two are signed.
Got about 2 minutes yet before. Okay. Do you need my copies, Jeff, for anything? Have you got them? What? Do you have copies? Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. At 9:30, on the agenda, EMA Director Jeff Fernandez. Good morning, Jeff. And a couple of your commission members. Discuss fiscal year 26-27 budget request.
Yep, so I handed out the worksheet there, take a look at it, it was approved at the meeting on 14th. For publication, correct.
Are you not gonna have, just a question, I talked to Sheila about the capital project line items.
So I'm trying to, up in the air on that, you and I talked about that one day, it was okay, and at least you and I talked about it one day, and it was okay, and then the next day it kind of wasn't okay, so have you heard anything back, or?
Well, I had talked to the private auditor. She suggests that I do not do it.
Okay.
But I told her if you got your board to approve it all, I would do it for you. And she was okay with that. She didn't see the need for it.
Okay, so just left field here, but you talked about a countywide capital project, am I eligible for that?
What?
Talked about doing I think Travis talked about it, a capital project for all county departments. If they need something, they come request it. Am I, I'd like to.
Yep, no,
County department,
if
so-
I can add, you're not a county department. I've done a lot of research on it. You are your own fiscal agent.
So I would have to have my own. Okay, so then, with that being said, how do you feel about a capital projects fund, or, because if you put it in the budget, obviously that jacks the numbers a lot, right? So,
It does, and,
Does this budget roll over, sorry, I mean,
Yeah.
does this budget roll over from year to year? Or
he's, so, yeah,
So anything,
His money
any
stays
fund
in
balance
there.
could go in capital projects, how's that work?
that's
see,
what
that's
it's
what,
not.
that's
It
what.
does now, okay.
Well, it stays in cash, but it's talking about having specific
Sure.
separate line item or account, I guess, but no, with the sheet that you have, everything is in here, 100%.
No, and I see that now, yeah.
Yep.
I guess my feelings, like I said, the private auditor was against it. But I know that you've been asking about it for 3 or 4 years, and the reason she was against it was she didn't see the need for it.
Okay.
And so my feelings was, if you get your board to say, hey, auditor, build me this, then I'll do it. You know, just so everybody's on the same page and knows what's going on.
I think in my mind, I guess, the way I see it is with that extra money sitting in that account, you guys see that?
Well, just like the state of Iowa with 911 surcharge funds, they saw it on the last day and they pulled back money from it.
Right. And then
So that's the same thing I see. I think we all see that full cash report on a weekly basis, and it's like, what's the purpose? You can explain the purpose every single day.
yeah, so you asked me a couple years ago to do a capital improvement project or plan, which I did, as the vehicle replacement and the identification plan. And
They don't consider vehicles capital projects, so. Yeah, when they talk capital projects, they're talking like, you know, like building something, doing a new.
Permanent asset.
A permanent asset.
see, I was told that it was a large expense.
So a vehicle would be part of your budget anyways.
So never mind.
So is it better to have full cash, that way the commission's got a little bit more leeway in what it can be pulled out for and used for as far as budget goes?
I think so, just because then they have the right to pick and choose what they want that year. The only thing is bad with a big purchase of a truck. And this is what I was gonna go into details today. And we can talk about 29C 12 all day long. To me, we have new board members on that commission. To me, nobody took lead except for me. I did make a motion to use 2B, but nobody really decided where the revenue is coming from yet. I think that's one action item that needs to be decided, because you can use A, B, C, or D, the way I read it, grants. B is just cities and county.
Sorry, can I interrupt? Maybe you're saying this for your committee report, but maybe it'd be beneficial for those of us that weren't at the meeting on Wednesday night for an update before we start this discussion as to what happened and
I
where
can
we're
do
at,
that.
and for the people in the public that weren't there. Sorry.
No, I can give it, or Jeff can give it, or I can give some of my knowledge.
Whoever wants to do it, I just feel like everyone in the room should know.
Yeah, we kind of started with 2B, so
I'm very early.
So first of all, you guys all know I left early, and I'll defend myself on why. My daughter's birthday was that day, and family's always been first to me, and it seemed like this meeting started at 7:30. It seemed like it was really late. I think I walked out at 8:30, so I missed everything that was going on in my house. Long story short, you guys brought a presentation of a budget worksheets. Jeff, I think some of it was missing, and I think the commission needed to do a better job of explaining what was missing. The wage thing was a long debate. Just because of the update from 911 into EMA, and I think we should probably share some new stuff of where all that's going.
Okay.
So then there was a motion to publish, I felt, the expenditures only, the expense. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because nobody ever talked about
I think
it.
it was definitely established on what the full motion was in budgets that's presented, was
Yep.
just expenses, so no, I think there was some gray area there.
So then it passed. I think the vote was 6-3. Correct me if I'm wrong. So then I threw out a motion as a commission member to fund the agency with 29C.17 subsection 2B. And I think I caught some people off guard, maybe some mayors to my left, of how we're gonna fund it. They didn't like the per capita, and why? 9 years ago, that's the way it was funded. You know, sorry, Randy, you're the only mayor here, but I wish there was other ones here, and we can continue this discussion of why it was okay 9 years ago, but not now. You know, my fear is if the state does do a 2% growth on our tax asking, we would have to cut county agencies if we can't grow GS by more than 2%, right? And new commission comes up and ask for $252,000. That'll be a direct hit to our 2% growth of GS, right? It will be. If we can't say how, because I pulled out that motion, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, did any mayor approve it?
The motion you made that night, I died for lack of second.
Exactly. Exactly. So your supervisor that's on that commission is gonna be outvoted most of the time, right? And that's what's wrong with that 29C. The way the votes are made up. One single vote that controls GS vote, levy authority, tax asking, when a mayor of our county of, correct me if I'm wrong, 24 citizens can have the same weighted vote as I do. Right? I represent the county. I represent rural and city citizens, property owners. But when I carry, what's the population of rural county? About 40%.
4596.
So when I
45,
control that many people, but a mayor of a little city controls 24, 26 people, his vote is the same. So, right, it died. For a motion of a way to fund it, to find a solution, it died. Maybe they didn't want to discuss it, that's fine, but it died. So then I think the commission then went into details of maybe we should approve the revenue side. And you did, and I seconded it, and it was only 31,500. The revenue from the county or cities or other mechanism was not in the revenue sheets.
Correct, that's what we're doing. And historically, that's what we would be doing today.
Correct.
Working backwards a little bit.
How would you put that number in there not knowing that this meeting hadn't happened yet?
So I don't know, did you change your bylaws since the previous director was here?
As far
And
as,
I'm gonna explain how you do that.
Okay.
So the bylaws that's on file is September of 2017, right, Jeff? It's your duty to go to the cities and county. I'll find that exact verbiage, that you're supposed to prepare a budget in the third quarter of the year.
Section 5.
During the third quarter of each year, the emergency program manager and the commission shall consider a budget for the commission and its agencies for the ensuing fiscal year and shall propose and adopt a budget no later than March 31st. That's in the bylaws.
let's put a calendar.
Calendar, each quarter of each year. So I believe that is July through September. That's in the bylaws. And
I think we've discussed that before too, and I know we haven't, but I think we discussed that that was a fiscal timeframe.
it makes sense because it talks about adapting the budget in March 31st. So that's my frustration. I think my opinion, you failed to do the bylaws to get us the knowledge before we went into a meeting of a proposed budget. Expenditures, revenues, all included. And then it talks about financing in Article 8. The commission shall determine a method to appropriation the cost of establishing and operating the agency among its members. The commission may request to the Board of Supervisors and each municipality to provide in their budgets for their appropriation share of the budget of the commission. That vote was never taken again to how we're gonna fund this, right?
So we should get every year.
I think it's every year because you got new board members, not board members, commission members. I think that vote should be determined every year in the third quarter of the year when you present a budget request to the cities and county. I think that vote should be through the bylaws. It shall determine a method to appropriate those
I
funds.
talked to Jeff last week after this, I'm like, technically, looking at it, you presented the expenses, but not knowing where it's funded from, how we as a commission can we do this if we don't know where potential revenue?
Exactly point, because what if the cities were paying in their per capita rate? Would the cities then determine that budget was way too high for those city costs to fund it? Or will they just, Randy and other commission members, sorry, you're the only one here, would they approve a bigger budget if they didn't have any skin in the game? Right? I mean, I work that way at home. If I'm forking the bill for everything, I'm gonna have some say in it. But if you're gonna throw the budget request to us every year, I'm gonna be outvoted 9-1 every year.
Why was it taken away from per capita 8 years ago or 9 years ago?
That's a very good question. The thing I've been hearing is the cities ran out of money. Because I bet if we pulled that sheet, what was the funding 10 years ago? Probably no 200,000. Probably 150.
I don't know for sure.
So that cost, Randy, was a lot easier to absorb than 252. You know, because I believe, I'm not a city clerk, but I think there's a line item right on the city budgets for EMA.
There is.
That's the way I think you guys can speak, but that's where we're at. I think not knowing what the state's gonna do, and this is where the state lawmakers, and I've been telling those state lawmakers for 9 years, going on 10 years, 29C dictates county home rule. County home rule states, we, the tax authority, may levy taxes to EMA, right? I bring this up every year, Jeff, sorry. Under 331-424 supplemental levies, right? Top paragraph. The board may certify supplemental levies as followed. Section 9. The maintenance and operation of a local emergency management agency established pursuant to Chapter 29C. Well, if they're gonna keep 29C and the Attorney General's opinion, I read it again, they're gonna keep that out there. They need to rewrite 33424 and say 9 doesn't matter in this anymore. Whatever the commission wants, they get, right?
What was the other fund that it can come from? There's two of them.
There's 4 of them.
Donations.
Yeah,
No,
so,
no, not that, but like, so that was supplemental, right?
yeah, so it's A is countywide supplemental. That's A. B is the one I'm trying to push for, is the per capita from city and government.
I know all those. What
Okay,
are the
C.
two accounts that you
C,
can pull from?
what?
What are the two accounts that you can pull from?
As a county?
Yeah.
We can pull it from either GV or GS.
Correct. Which is a countywide taxation.
So correct me if I'm wrong, so the issue at the meeting Wednesday night, or following the meeting, was there was no number put in for any reimbursement from any cities or counties in the budget, whatever that was approved. Is that the part of the issue here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So
To me, they,
so we only had 31,500 coming in to run a $220,000 budget.
Not,
So
no.
now we need to figure out
The contribution.
how we fix the fact that there was no revenue coming in from any of those funding sources approved by the commission Wednesday night.
and the other ones, I'll complete it, under that 29C, 17, an allocation compiled as each jurisdiction-related share of the total assessed valuations within the county. So B is per capita, C is based off evaluations. D is a volunteer share, E is other funding sources allowed by law. And right in that 29C17, the commission shall be the fiscal authority and the chairperson, vice chairperson of the commission is a certified official. For the purpose of consult with this chapter, the local EMC approved budget shall be funded by one or any combination of the following options, A through E.
So it'd be a fair ask to ask this board, this commission member, if they have an appetite to potentially,
It's like 101,000 is our
Fund.
share.
what's that, sorry?
101,000 roughly is our share, if it's a per capita.
Gotcha.
Give or take. Right?
And these numbers, right, last year was, this board gave 130, is that fair?
Yeah, we gave more than our per
Okay,
capita
no,
rate.
just, so make sure these numbers are correct. Knowing that this budget that was presented for publication potentially go down.
What's the per capita for the rest of the cities then?
That's the,
So I never got the true number of revenue requests, so it's 222,900
So 252, 798 right now.
minus 31,500 though.
221.
221, 298.
Is the total request 221,000?
Gotcha, sorry.
298, 221, 298.
Yeah.
So just easy math, I don't have the population in front of me, it's like 42%. So the county, if the commission elects, we would give 92,900 roughly. We understand, I guess I'm gonna speak, you know, I understand EMA. I've been dealing with this for 10 years. I just think whenever they made that law, they never figured out the votes of the cities and the county and what is the fairest way to fund that agency. I just wish we were following the bylaws. I just wish we had more transparency in the third quarter.
So I do, maybe not third quarter, but I usually start in October requesting worksheets, and I've been told that we don't have them. So I'd like to start earlier, because obviously here we
Well, we
are.
don't have the worksheets themselves, but we have budgets.
I've been asking for the last 3 years to get worksheets in October, I've never been able to get them. So, whatever that may be, but, so. Explain to me again how we put that number in before this meeting happens.
Again,
Put
although
that-
by the commission in.
With that the whole remaining expense, right?
Well, that's what you would need to balance the budget.
Correct, that's what I'm saying.
And when I was at your office a couple of weeks ago, you know, I know there's probably some room that you won't spend 100% of your budget, current budget.
Correct.
So I wish we need to have a discussion how we know what's not gonna be spent, because then you're just, quote, putting in any fund balance for a rainy day. Why isn't that number just subtracted from the request? Right?
So I did a loose one. And I think it was 15,000 that'll be returned,
Yep.
or not returned, but unspent.
Unspent. So to me, that should be deducted from the request.
And that's for the next coming year, you have 15,000?
This current budget, went
You
15,000
would
left.
spend 15,000 for, under 25, 26, right?
It's,
But he would
Does that answer
spend,
it?
but he would
Well,
spend.
yeah, it does, but I get, opens up more questions as to what you're gonna spend, because the numbers I ran the other day, you should have 86,000 if you spent 100% of your budget, you should have 86,000.
so I'm not talking about actually in the budget, not cash.
Okay.
Not total. But we got hazmat and last year's
You get 75,000 there,
capital project, I guess.
So then you supervisors have any questions of how this agency is supposed to work? I think I've explained it many times. You have your commission by law, 29C, that's their code section. The auditor has to do payroll and claims for you per law. I always debate though the funding mechanism, because it seems like that number is a large number for our general supplemental levy rate. And I just wish we could have a more per capita rate like we used to have, and not just throw it on the county board.
So right now, per capita for the county should be 111.
It's roughly,
Roughly,
I don't have
okay.
a true population.
No, that's fine.
It's anywhere from 95 to 102,000. But that is using that code section B2.
Right.
I think Randy brought up a good point. Why did it ever change? Like I said, I've been hearing back mayors, you know, previous to us, and their money ran out. To me, I think that's where it needs to come from, though. Especially if people in Des Moines do what I think they're gonna do, that's just gonna hurt the county departments as a whole. If we can only grow like $80,000 between GBGS. And then you come to us and asking for 250 or whatever it is, 220. I think we all need to pay our fair share. Any other comments, board members? Or decrease the budget, and I don't know how far we can go into this, Dave. I know you had a phone call last week on some issues, but you know, maybe it's time to put your core hours to a part-time status. I don't know, just had that discussion, right? And then the other part-time would be the other department that you serve, if that's allowable. Is it time to let you be the 911, admin for the stuff that's in that and get paid for that, like we was talking 911. Like a 25% share there. In Bremer County, I believe, Ryan, the sheriff is the 911 director.
Correct. Yes.
You know, do we
Getting
move,
rid of that.
you get rid of that?
He's trying.
But maybe we just need to redevelop the whole need of the county in those agencies. You know, if the commission declassifies you from full-time to part-time, does that open you up so you can do other things? I don't know. I'm not an HR attorney.
From the 911 board, I have to speak on that a little bit. There was discussion during that budget work session as well of paying a portion of his salary out of that, at what rate was, a lot of numbers were thrown out. So there's an option there from what I found. I believe that, yes, as a director, he can, some of that can be used for salary out of that surcharge fund.
And I would agree, you know, I don't think the director can be, but I
I
think
talked to Mr. Garucci, the state 911
Yeah.
director, and
he thinks it's out. So, are you done, Ryan?
Yes.
I got more details with that. It seems like we want to pay wages and benefits out of other, and I know there was a comment made that wasn't property tax, but I do know that I think I have 6 cell phones in my house, so my bill is paying a surcharge, which is tax, which is technically the 911 surcharge is a tax. You know, maybe not property tax, but it's a different way of tax. We are paying about $26,000 a year in rental agreements for tower sites. Maybe some of that money should be set aside for tower projects down the road. Is it a good way to pay staff today? Yeah, maybe. But in the future, if you keep paying staff with those funds, what's gonna be left for a project? You're gonna keep going down and down, down. I don't know what's right.
Same scenario that happened with, per capita to pay this,
Correct.
you know.
And maybe if we had more skin in the game, just saying, maybe the budget won't be 252. Maybe we should set on a 200,000 or 190,000 budget. You know, I that's where I'm at, Randy. I think.
If the commission meets again to review the budget, including the revenue, whatever they decide, and they decide they want to stick with the county funding all of it, then we come back up here and have the same fight we've had every year that I've been here. Where does that get? I mean, we're right back here again a week or two from now, where the EMA commission's asking for X, and members of this board are saying, we're not paying X, and the commission says you have to pay X. Are we right back there again? And what are we gonna do then?
That's where the law, and I hate to bring it, the new attorney general involved, but maybe she needs to have a legal opinion on this whole thing. Read 29C in depth and read our authority as a tax agent.
So I guess my question would be, if you're, and I don't know, maybe the discussion's done, but if you're charging the EMA commission, if your direction to them is go back and meet again and fix what you messed up last Wednesday, by putting revenue in there, that's gonna cover at least the majority of your budget, if not all of it. And they decide to stick with the current plan and come back here again, is this board going to look to me a week from today or 2 weeks from today and say, do we have the authority to tell them, no, we don't wanna give them that much money or any money as you've done in the past? Because if I'm a commissioner, that's one of my questions. I mean, if they say, hey, we're gonna do the same we've done for the last 5 or 6 years, and they come up and you guys say, hey, well, the commission says yes, they come in and ask for 100, we're only giving them 50. Then the commission's gonna have to go back again and redo their budget and decide how they're gonna do it. You see where I'm going with this? I just want to make sure.
That needs to be this.
I don't know, I can speak for you as a
No,
commissioner.
because I think this is where my question to this whole board is, what, who's got what appetite, and we know where Jake's at, respect that decision 100%. What's the other board members think? You know, I've been only involved in this the last couple of years on what they feel is a fair, if any, county contribution at all.
If I can add one thing, I think we're missing the boat here. So those mayors, 8 of them, can go back to their city council and say, yeah, we went to the EMA meeting last night. We don't have to give any funds, we'll just throw it back on the board of supervisors. They can go back and the people that elect them to office, it doesn't affect the city council budget. It affects our budget. That's where I think we hold the law of general supplemental. How can those mayors dictate to us? That's where 29C needs to get with home rule of who controls our levy rate. Because when we have a public hearing and say our GS goes up $400,000, they're gonna come to us. They're not going to the cities, right?
But yeah, I agree.
So-
Where you're at.
Yeah.
If this board says, hey, you're at we'll just use per capita, since you brought up, and we're at our share, let's just call it $100,000 for each figure, and then maybe that's a commission decision that we've gotta go back and say, okay, well, this is where they're at. What's this commission's gonna do? We're gonna backfill it with pool cash? We're gonna ask the cities for a per capita rate? That's all a decision that the commission may have to make. I just think a good place to start, I would agree, we're kind of working backwards here a little bit, based on the bylaws and how to prepare a budget, but what's the appetite of this board? Is my opinion, I guess.
No, that's
I'm one
good
person.
question.
I'm one person.
Well, I'll tell you, I have no problem taking care of the town citizens. That's my opinion. It's where it was last year, it's where I am this year.
Yeah, I guess I'm on the board at per capita. I mean, maybe we give that 100,000, or maybe we go up to the 130 that we've done the last 2 years. And maybe your commission needs to backfill.
I think that's what we did last year, we pulled up pool cash, but yeah, no, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I would be in favor of the 130 we did last year.
My comment is that I don't mean no disrespect, but that kills our capital projects every year. And I understand we can go back and change this next year and totally wipe out a lot of those stuff on our budgets, but just please keep that in mind, that when we have to backfill every year, that same with you talked about the towers, so
What are your upcoming capital projects?
just the two, vehicle replacement and, hazard mitigation plan.
Even if you pay what you paid last year, you're.
Sorry, you're on city council now. You are good. I'll let you talk. I have a strong policy, and you know it.
Yeah, I
But you're
mean,
on city council, I'll give you that second.
you're giving all the county employees a 4% increase. Are you gonna support the 130, the same amount you gave last year? Or are you going to increase that by 4 or 5%, or 4% or whatever?
Well, I mean, if we're going back to per capita, we're down 100,000, so we're already way over that figure.
Yeah, you missed that.
I mean, I don't argue from a city standpoint that the city should contribute to E EMA.
You just argue in general.
Yeah.
But really, we all are.
We can have that debate over and over. Let's go back off of letter D then, evaluations. Where does GS come from? 78% from the rural tax base.
You're never gonna find a fair system.
No,
To say that
no.
people from the city are not contributing is not true.
They're contributing for all
If
the
I
other
live in the city,
county.
I'm paying GS, the same as someone who lives in the county. Now you're asking me to throw more into the city beyond what I pay on GS, or don't put that in the paper. But isn't that true? I mean, what, am I missing something?
Yeah, I think you are. So we serve as a county board of commissions, a supervisor in Iowa. The value and the service that it costs for everybody else, your salary, the auditors. Why do we get to charge drive-through? Why do we get to charge elections to city and schools? Because those are special. They're not part of the general supplemental countywide, in my opinion, levy authority. And we can go back to evaluations, we can go back to values, right?
Yeah,
And the people live in the cities, they don't live out in the rural.
I agree with you. I just
So,
saying that
it's
there's
an
no
unfair-
fair way
no,
of doing it.
I get it.
Because even if you did it per capita, it's still, some people would argue it's not fair.
It's never gonna be.
Correct, there's no fair quote unquote way to do it.
No, and I agree with the per capita. I mean, $221,000 is a lot to ask out of general supplemental. I mean, I think the name supplemental is meant to supplement portions of other budgets, and you're asking 100% of your budget to come out of a supplemental levy. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Not 100%.
Well, over 31,500.
So if you do per capita, is the county's portion gonna come out of just rural basic then?
the GBGS.
And like Jake said before, rural pays for most of GBGS, 73 to 78%.
And if some cities keep doing TIF, that's another, what was it, $20 million evaluations that went away from GBGS. So we can have those debates. Yes, Dave, I think they need to go back and figure out. And hopefully take our guidance on a fair way to fund, if that's what the budget you guys need, 250,
221 million.
the total budget though. Because to me, they gotta consider that revenue coming in. Or maybe decrease the budget. So Dave, to finish it, you did, yes. The Attorney General's opinion spells they're the fiscal agent.
Last year, my recollection is correct. Last year, Jeff came in as EMA director on behalf of the commission and asked for whatever number he asked for. And basically said the same thing he's always said, you have to give me that money by law. And this board basically said, no, we don't, we're gonna give you a lesser number. And what I'm hearing consensus today is that's still your position, that you're gonna give whatever you feel is appropriate, even if they go stick with the same funding mechanism. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think we need an Attorney General's opinion on who
We're
has
not
the
gonna
tax
get that in the
authority.
next 2 weeks. We might get that in the next 2 years.
Again,
In the next 2 weeks.
can we go to the city council, Dave, that I don't?
I'm not, I'm not trying to argue
Go
the
ahead.
point, I'm just saying, let's make sure we're all on the same page when they go back.
Yeah,
They have guidance as to what is gonna be the response from you guys when they come back up here, 'cause they're gonna be back up here. I would think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
they need to take out, if they want that 29C to be law, that's what it is today. But under home rule of county government, it says may contribute to number 9. Now, if that word was shall, that's my different opinion, but it does not say shall, it says may.
Well, I've heard, county's portion, which we know 95 to 102, I've heard 130, I mean, I think this commission kind of needs to have direction to go, I think we got a pretty good idea, I just like a consensus or just something so we can go back and decide, as a commission, do we change funding mechanism, do we lower our budget, what's the decision we need to do?
So with our time constraints now with publishing and all that, do we have time to have those meetings? Or we certainly appreciate the 130 for the last 2 years, 3 years. If we did that for publication, then we can change the actual budget later.
Good. Until the 28th, I believe, right?
February 20th.
Correct, yeah.
And I wish you would follow your bylaws a little bit deeper, Jeff. Why do we have them, Going back to the comment we made about towers, if I could correct it. When the anchor site was built, back before my time, about a year before I got here, the past 911 director did come to the board and ask for money to fund that tower. I think we're always open for discussion for capital projects. But I don't know what you guys feel about a new truck and all that other stuff you're trying to save for.
So there's a couple of projects, you could say, hey, yeah, we're going to, we just don't have to, correct? As far as EMA commission comes to supervisors for the capital project, you don't have to do anything, but you could.
Oh, correct, we did that with the tower, the main anchor site.
I have
Yeah.
This you guys.
And then I'm just gonna throw out a couple more curveballs, I'm sorry, Jeff. Those TVs that were purchased in June, they're still in a box. Do they work? I mean, warranty's probably off of them. Are they even open yet? So they're just sitting there, they were purchased in June, last fiscal year. Not trying to draw anybody's attention, but the drone that you purchased, you said the rescue squad has one. I think there's other fire departments have them. What was that county purpose? Why do we need so many? We all got certification to fly those. Just a lot of questions. So, yeah, you know,
We can almost purchase through a grant from the pipeline.
$7,500.
That was something that they suggested for pipeline. Obviously, we don't want to lock up on pipeline. The other things that I do that fire departments don't do is damage assessment and stuff like that. So I do have a purpose for that.
I'm just seeing a lot of other agencies have them too. I don't know why we can't just share sometimes. It seems like we're duplicating of equipment and services, but maybe the state has a fix for that someday.
Yeah, I'd be a lot more in favor of your capital projects, to just, when something comes up, come to us and, you know, let us, instead of just putting money in the account, just in case that something might come up. I think that's a good use of.
Well, like I said, I have a capital improvement plan that says exactly what that money's for, what you asked for as a board. It's not just, rainy day. Per se.
But then again, capital projects is probably, that should be brick and mortar, right? So I mean, it's bad wording
It is.
for that. You guys should find a different place to put that.
Large expense, large purchase or whatever, major equipment. I think is the way it's right now.
But Dave, as a legal counsel for the board, there was motions made and approved for publication this Thursday, Friday. Do they have to act before it makes the paper?
Well,
How can you go against the commission's wishes at a meeting Wednesday night to publish this Thursday, Friday?
if they're publishing their budget,
Which
they're gonna
budget?
have to amend the budget.
Exactly.
So, I mean, to me, it's easier just to cancel the publication and have a meeting and get it right the first time. Go back and fix what you messed up on Wednesday night. That'd be my advice, but I'm not we're running into murky territory as to do I represent the commission and not. I don't think so. I think they're their own independent agency.
They are.
It's awkward because our auditor's office gets drug into the issues that are presented by the commission sometimes. So I get asked to opine on those issues. But yes, to me, that would be the easiest thing. Would be to go just cancel the publication. You have until the end of February.
Yeah.
And schedule a meeting in the next week or two and go back and rediscuss all these things and fix what you messed up. Start over from scratch.
Alright, is that what you want to do? What's that? Is that what you'd like to do?
I think that's a good option. We discussed that last week too, that's hence why the one is set for tonight.
And I'm not gonna get into the details, but the HR attorney asked me to address the commission at their meeting regarding, the joint hours that you're working with one of this board's departments, EMS. So, I mean, I can come back to this board if and when that's an issue that needs to be, I need to discuss with the commissioner. I've been nominated to discuss with the commission as well, so. And again, that's another murky thing to represent, but the auditor's office is involved, so.
That wasn't discussed at the meeting, so it's.
And we got further guidance on Friday, so I need to forward that guidance to your commission.
Yeah.
It's up to them to decide, I just give them the info. That's
And-
that.
Anything else, Jeff? Anything else 911 budget? I know it's not in our hands, but Isaac, you serve on that. Any questions or concerns? Maybe more information sometimes.
The pay was discussed, or you guys were there, that's the only issue I really had. I'm not sure how you guys are gonna address that, but
That's a commission decision.
Yep, I think they heard some more frustration on that. They'll keep using the money for wage and benefits and then infrastructure fails. So. Or you run out of money for a big project. Because I'm just gonna share as a board member that 24,000 for land rent and lease rent, it keeps coming out of GPGS. I think it's time to get off those rental spaces and look at our own, but.
And we did look into them, they're well over $1 million to build a tower.
Just afraid if somebody cancels one of those lease agreements, now where do we go? That's my fear. It's been that way 6 years now since we entered those lease agreements. And if that day happens, what's our obligation for the state radio system if we don't have a site? Then are we scrambling to spend $1 million on a new site? Where? You know? So those are, I think, the bigger picture of 911 surcharge funds. Hopefully this take goes to $1.50, but
15,
what?
about 15.
Oh, about 15. Yeah.
What I mean is, I feel we have some direction anyway, and that's something obvious, like a nice direction, but maybe a little difference with any of the general idea of what the board's thinking anyway.
Thanks. Ryan's up.
Yeah.
You done, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ryan's up here. I was just gonna go right into his stuff. Thanks, guys. First thing for Ryan, discuss and adopt resolution number 119-2605, a resolution approving the appointment of civil process servers.
Yeah, so talk to some other counties, they do this, so these people list. Sometimes, part of the sheriff's job is serve civil papers, and then for a number of different reasons, and this would allow my staff that's in the office, people to walk in to come collect these to serve them. The only thing they cannot serve are arrest warrants, which still have to be certified law enforcement officers. So this would just help with my staff's out and about, that they would have to come back just to serve a paper. If they don't have it with them, try to serve it. So we do get some people saying, hey, I'll be in at this time. We try to have staff there, certified deputy to do that, but sometimes it doesn't allow it. So this will just be added to their duties. I've changed the job description a little bit to say to be appointed as a civil process server.
So I saw this last week. I reached out to HR, and this has nothing to do with the union contract. This is an assignment put on by the sheriff. So it's part of their duties as dispatcher.
Correct, yes.
Under those code sections that are listed in the resolution, you can review this if the board approves.
The only thing, these is someone we add an employee or something this list would go, we'd have to go up and, redo this part again, but it's just more formality on your part.
So these 7 people are the people the sheriff has requested to be assigned civil process servers. Did you say how long is the completion of the certificate? Are they all completed?
Code doesn't say, I think they're certified until he uncertifies them.
Yes, it is, yeah, it is
Yeah,
until I
That's
test
the
the
right
record
word.
list
He
together.
certifies, right, is a better word.
So there would be a new sheriff, it'd be that new again, that person decides to do that.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 119-2605, resolution approving the appointment of civil process servers.
Is there a second?
Sorry.
Motion by Steve, second by Scott to approve resolution 119-2605, approving the appointment of civil process servers as listed in the resolution. Any discussion? If not, roll call. Steve?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Isaac?
Really?
Travis?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Resolution's been approved. You also wanted to discuss law enforcement contracts with the cities of Fredericksburg and or Nashville.
Yeah, which kind of segues into, I think you guys, I submitted my revenue projections, kind of segues into that a little bit. I got some meetings this week with both those cities that we currently contract set number of hours with. I just kind of want to go into it, know what this board's opinion is, just like kind of piggybacks off that you made conversation a little bit. It's a conversation these cities always bring up every year, just like you guys are doing, be fiscally responsible, not sure what the state's gonna do with tax dollars and such, property tax valuations, I should say. If they would decrease, either one city would decrease hours, which would decrease potential revenue coming in for our office, or if they decided to explore different options for law enforcement services, it may take us out completely. So again, is this something that my budget may have to absorb, or is this board saying, hey, we're gonna fund your office with the current employees with or without this revenue? It's gonna play a lot into how I talk to the cities and what they're asking and where they may be. So
I've been up here, Ryan, for 10 years now, and I think some of the deputies are at it because we got the
I
contract.
would agree.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm not trying to speak amongst the whole board, but to me, if that's the way we added the staff and we don't have those contracts, I think it's really a slap on the taxpayers if we don't decrease that.
That's what I'm here for. I just need to know what's going into it, where this board's thinking.
I don't know about the rest of it, but
I would agree with that statement, just because I used to be part of the city that they hired 2 of those deputies from.
2 or 1, I think it was 1. Oh, they're not working for us, but I think we got a position because of the contract. I see what you mean, yeah.
anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, it's a be tough thing to get rid of people, but if that's what happens, I don't have
I
a choice.
just need to know what's going into discussions with and see where we're at, so it's just the biggest thing.
And on behalf of the county, if they wanna go through a drive-through service rate compared to the $70 an hour, you might be on the other side of the county, and you'll get there when you get there. You won't have specific hours, you won't have, under their city government, they are in charge of police departments.
No,
I see where
not
you're
easy, not easy discussion.
and it's not easy for those cities because of the whole state law potential change.
Right, that's why, yeah, I get
And
it.
they're looking at any kind of cuts or any kind of redirecting revenue to fund their city. It's hard. We had a talk at a District 2 meeting. How many of those cities are gonna unincorporate? Because of a potential law change, and they won't continue to move on with a 2% growth.
I had feel that'd be the answer. I just have to know. So, no, I don't take it personal, guys. It's a business decision. I respect that.
And I don't know where they're at now for hours, if you can just enlighten us.
Fredericksburg's at 1,020 hours for the year. Nashville's at 1,750. So based on, you guys have it, Fredericksburg law enforcement contracts projected based on current hours and rates set by you guys last week, 78,000. Nashville's would be 133,000. So
It's 200,000.
yeah, it's a lot of money. Hence why I'm here.
Yeah, I got it.
Do I see a big change? No, but there's discussions always had out there. I know the city of Nashville's definitely having some discussions with their citizens, which is good to have.
Yeah. If there's no other questions on that, I
Nope.
would just like to, K-9 unit.
Yeah.
You presented the budget, let's just go through it quickly.
Yeah, so this just kind of keeps it going. Clothing, dry goods, that's mainly for the dog, or any separate uniform items the deputy may need for that. Minor equipment and hand tools, whatever minor equipment might need, leashes, harnesses, things for the dog. Food provisions, we keep that in there. Right now, Steve's got a pretty good thing going with a local person or business out of Nashua, so nothing really spent on that. Lodging, we put in there, any K-9 seminars that the deputy may go to. Education training, that's going to be seminars may go to, comes kind of pays for that. Then just medical expenses. So total projected is 4,400. I know so far this year, I don't know if we spent anything on that, maybe a couple $100. So
Zero so far.
I think the pooled cash for that is around 25,000.
Yep.
So
So this
hopefully
is,
in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years and getting a dog, maybe sooner. Just depends on where Duke is 9. So I would say maybe sooner than that, but no, that fund's sitting quite well. We had a large donation from the Lowell Lions Club last year, which definitely helped that fund for sure.
yep, so this is restricted fund, self-sustained, no GB, no GS.
Correct.
Into it, so. I think that one can be pushed. You haven't used nothing this year yet, so.
Not yet, no. There's always a seminar comes up in May, we pulled some out of there for, so.
When would you get the revenues to the auditor for your budget?
I think it's
After
not
the cities?
Yeah, I put in for current hours right now, and I sent the revenue to her, so I did send that to
I
you.
have the revenue.
Yeah,
That's
Subject to change.
subject to change, correct. I meet with both Fredericksburg National on Wednesday. I don't see them giving hard numbers that day, but I think I'll get a good gauge on where they're at.
Yeah, let us know as soon as possible if
Yes.
they agreed anything, just so we can know for revenue side of it.
Sure.
And then maybe we need to revisit on the expense side if
Yep.
something changes.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Next thing is public health. So Public Health Director Lisa and team, welcome. Discuss public health budget review for fiscal year 26-27.
All right, do you mind if do you have me down for a department update?
Yes.
Can I do that first, environmental health and then public health?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sounds good. So, for our department update, just kind of highlighted some things that were additional to the normal day-to-day operations that we've been up to. Strategic planning and succession planning we've been doing. So for this, we've been working with the Iowa Health and Human Services on a 3-year strategic and succession plan. And that would be for our whole department. So that includes public health, home health, and environmental health. And the purpose of this effort is to clarify organizational direction, set goals, and prioritize resources to build capacity and improve outcomes for the community that we serve. For emergency preparedness, we've been doing a lot with Stop the Bleed. So Ionia and Nashville Fire Departments did reach out and ask for me to come do trainings for them in February for that. The Akira Health, I participated in the hot wash or the after action planning for that. And one thing that came out of it, and that I'm currently working on, is getting MOUs with comprehensive systems. And this would be the comp systems from New Hampton and Charles City to use their transit. So I used to work for comp systems, and so I had some contacts, just kind of reached out to them because I thought it would be a good thing because they could transport wheelchair people or just ambulatory people. So I have been working with them, and they just actually called me when I was walking out the door. So hopefully we can get something set up with them so that we can use it in case of a disaster. For community education and outreach, Gail from Learning Connections did reach out to me, and we are going to come speak with her group. There's 2 different groups on vaccines and keeping our kids healthy. Dawn Hine from St. Joe's, she had me come and teach the first graders about germs and hand washing, and then we continue to do the radio education on the community conversations monthly. For communicable disease and communicable disease management, we continue to monitor and follow up on reportable diseases. We have been providing treatment and follow-up for some latent TB cases, including monitoring, education, and administering medication. We've also been providing resource navigation, treatment, education, and follow-up to help aid with immigration processes and TB classifications. And then we've had some 10% absentee follow-ups with the schools to do. We're also, I just thought of this, we're following the measles closely because we've had some more pop-up outbreaks in the United States. So we're just kind of watching that close. Animal bites, the last couple have needed the rabies series. So we just kind of work with the individuals and hospitals to get that lined up. Home health referrals, so far in January, we've had over 20 referrals, and that's more than we usually get in a whole month, and it's only the 19th. So kind of increasing on that. So Anna and I have been out doing visits and admissions to help the staff out, I guess. Some councils that we're on, the Child Abuse Council, we have a food access work group that we're working with Cerro Gordo County on. They invited us to be on this group. Along with the succession planning, they did ask me to be on a succession planning work group for the state of Iowa to kind of help with that. Local public health mid-year report, there was a work group that they had me come and be on for that. A BAT campaign work group, they asked me to be on that too. Community health needs assessment work group with Mercy One Hospital here. Marion County Public Health has applied for the Healthy Hometowns grants, and they asked us to subcontract with them along with some other counties. We did let them know in the Iowa Cancer Consortium group that we'd be interested in partnering with both of them. In the Iowa Cancer Consortium group, let Marion County Public Health apply for that, and they would be supporting that. So we did write a letter of support for Marion County to be a subcontractor.
As part of that $1,000,000-something grant.
Yep,
Federal grant.
I believe the state of Iowa gets, I think it's like 2.9 million per year for the next 5 years to do programming like that. So it would be like cancer programming and things like that that we would help with in our county. So protecting our county from the increasing cancer rates. Opioid Advisory Committee, what we've kind of been working on, we did the mail back envelopes. We have signed up to be a Narcan distributor, so we signed up and took the training and we have free Narcan now at our office. So if anybody's interested, what they do is they come in and we have to train them, and then we give out that free Narcan to people in our county or whoever comes in. We're kind of working on setting up an open house so that we can teach and hand out some of this stuff. I haven't had time this month. My hope was this month, but hopefully in the next couple months, we can do that. Credentialing work, we've been having to get credentialed with more Medicare replacement plans because there's been a lot of switches in our county with those. So working on groups like Aetna, Humana, and Mercy One Health Plan on that. Doing training, so Ann and I did a psychological first aid training that we both just completed. And that's kind of an emergency preparedness, so if there would be a disaster, we can go out and help. If we have to open up like a, what am I thinking of, like a place to,
A station.
a station to have people come in. And then we just continue to provide immunizations. We did order additional flu vaccine, which is within our budget, to help us meet the increased demands for flu vaccine. Just providing a lot of resource navigations and both phone calls for guidance from medical facilities, nursing homes, businesses, and different county residents. And
Did
then
you mention the reach out from Iowa State Extension? Did they
No.
reach out to you?
they did reach out to me. So Amanda Tupper, I didn't mention that yet, but Amanda Tupper from Iowa State Extension did reach out to me to see if we would be interested in helping them out with a grant. So this would be a nutrition grant and food access grant.
Perfect.
We don't, you know, it's just to add on to what has been going on in her department. One thing that I suggested last year, and she's been working on, that hasn't been going very well, is the county roads department does their drug testing through Mercy New Hampton, and Lisa has offered to do that for the county, but I guess she was advised by the county roads, just so you're aware, that they're gonna continue to utilize Mercy for that service.
And going along with that, I can look into more pricing and stuff, what it would cost to do the training and stuff for that. That probably would come out, I'm assuming, of like the safety money.
See, I don't know because that's very specific to the DOT.
Okay,
There's nobody else in the county that has a DOT license.
okay. Because I know I don't think I have that in our budget to do. However, we'd be willing to help out with that.
Yeah, we can talk about that further, but
And yeah, talk with that department about that.
see what they want to do. Anything else for department update? All right, so annual budget request for public health, environmental health.
Yep, so I'm gonna start with environmental health, and I do kind of have some handouts along the way that I'll be handing out. So the environmental health budget reflects a combination of necessary cost adjustments, board directed wage and insurance changes, and operational shifts. So overall, while some areas increased, others decreased, demonstrating a careful management and efficiency. So what I'd like to do with each of the budgets, and I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I'm
could
gonna get it up here shortly.
Okay, perfect. Pull it up. I do want to go through each line. That way I can kind of tell you what's in each line so everybody knows
So I
what we're putting in our
have,
budget.
if you want revenue for EH,
That's revenue first?
if that's the one you wanna go first.
Yep, that works for me. So license and fees. So in this line, there's the contractors pay $25 per license fee is what's in there. The next line is well water sewer permits. So this would be well and sewer permits, of course, kind of self-explanatory. So it's not fiscal year, but from January until up to date right now, we've done 19 wells. And for each well, we charge $175 each. Of course, the state takes 25 of that, but still making $150. And then for the sewers, there's $250 is what we get for that. And we did 58 of those so far. So we have had an increase in that. The well water sewer permits, this is the grant money, the private well grant money right there. Water samples, again, this is the private pay water samples that are not covered by the grant. So if somebody's wanting their water tested, we just had a couple of these and it's not covered by the grant because one case we tested their water through the grant and their water was fine, but they wanted it tested again. Obviously the grant's not gonna cover 2 times, to pay it because we have to follow guidelines. So they did agree to pay out of pocket for that water sample. Radon test kits, we have been selling those and we actually sold out before we even got out we went out in the community to Buc-ee's last week, so we sold out of those.
Are you doing those from, sorry, American Lung Association? Are they giving them out for free now, or?
They are not, there was a period of time that they were doing them for free if you went online and registered. They are not anymore. I did get a better rate on them, so we got a few of them to kind of test it out. So our fee covers that cost of what we have to pay plus a little additional for us, for our services.
Sounds good, thanks.
So miscellaneous fees, so this would be things like when that semi, went in the ditch and we had to go out, their company had reimbursed us for going out to do that. So that's in that line. Inspection fees, so this would be any pool inspections that we do, pumper truck inspections and tattoo inspections. And then the bottom line is 0.
Any questions on the revenue?
And we did increase the revenue for next year by $200, but as you can see, the year-to-date activity, we're obviously over half. So, you know, you don't wanna overestimate it and come in under. I would rather be a little conservative.
And what I like to do with that private well grant too, we get a certain specific set amount of money. I try to use as much as we can up right away to start with, because then I can request additional funding, which I have this year, and I'm still kind of waiting to see if we get that. But last year we were awarded $10,000 extra money for that.
Do you think you'll get the total $76.50?
Yes, I do.
Just so we know when we do a reestimate, if the revenue's all coming in. I mean, you're at 45,711 now, but.
And I just billed the grant for like 13,000 some odd dollars, so that would be for this quarter, because we bill it quarterly.
All right, let's find the expenditures, I think there's no questions.
That would be for the quarter ending in December.
Yes.
There it is.
All right, a lot of these are self-explanatory too, but salary, of course, is salary. Fuel and gasoline would be for gas to do services like dumping complaints, water testing, site evaluations, and things like that. Stationaries, forms in general would be the office supplies. Office publications, this would be ads for like water testing. We do get reimbursed for those from the private well grant that we have. Postage, this would be to send out water testing cards, and then also to send results out to the residents of the county. The mileage, this would be to go to required in-person meetings. So there is an environmental health IOWWA conference that he has to go to yearly. And at this conference, he gets all of the required CEUs for that grant. So that's required one. And then he also has to go to a CPO, since he's a certified CPO. He has to do 2 CEUs per year for that. So those would be the only 2 required trainings for that. Telephone and internet is self-explanatory. Lodging, this would be for that IOWWA conference that he goes to yearly. The meals, of course, that would be if he's at that conference and there wasn't a meal that was supplied by the conference. Education and training, so this again is the IOWWA conference and those 2 CEUs for the CPO training. Repairs and maintenance, so this would be things for the truck. This would be oil changes, truck repairs, wipers, brakes, anything like that.
How's that truck handling? Any issues with it? Is it time to be shut off or?
I don't think so. We are
Did you
just,
check the miles on it?
no, I know you did ask and I haven't checked.
He's starting to keep a log on the vehicle too, of all his
That is correct.
coming and going. And then from now on, we up the fuel expense so that he would use the company pickup instead of using his own. So that would save the budget that way too.
Gotcha, good.
Yes, he did have a claim for some mileage, and we made it pretty clear when we used the county truck.
Yeah.
Let's see, dues and memberships, so this would be IOWWA dues, which actually saves us money when we go to that conference. We get a discounted rate. The Iowa Environmental Health Association, and then the IWWA dues. Contract of services, this would be, hopefully we never have to use this again, but this would be if another county is filling in for us. The next one is the well owners and cost share sample, so this would be to pay Keystone Lab for doing the water samples, but we do get reimbursed 100% from our grant for that. This would be like postcards, paying things out like shot chlorinations, well reconstructions and stuff like that, which we all get reimbursed for from that private well grant.
So why did that line item go down so much?
So, and I'll explain this later, but, so it costs less because they increased our rates that we get for reimbursement. So it costs less on the front end to do the stuff than on the back end. We get more of a reimbursement on the back end. So that's why we could decrease it, because it costs us less to do it upfront. The well permits, we pay the state the $25, like I was saying, for each well permit that we do. The radon test kits, I kind of explained that already, so we found them cheaper, but we get reimbursed for them plus a little bit of our time doing that, so it's kind of a benefit for us. And then FICA IBR's insurance prorated, that's all in everybody's.
Salaries at 4% also.
Okay.
If I can ask, you've spent 34,000 current to date. Is there gonna be any estimate give back of that department you're thinking?
I don't have a current estimate at this time.
No, you're fine.
Okay. And then I do have some handouts and things, because I can go over the line items that we increased.
Environmental health?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I love, of course, I'll just have you pass them around and then I'll collect the additional at the end. I love graphs, so of course I'm gonna do some graphs. I just think they're easier to see too, like pie charts and things like that. Okay, so the first sheet that went around, the first page is the expenses and it shows where everything's going. The second page is the revenue and it kind of shows where all the revenue is going and what percentage of the whole budget it makes up. The other one, the first page, it shows the environmental health changes. And then on the bottom, it shows each line that we changed for that. So the board suggested, of course, the 4% wage increases, so that reflects that. The salary went up $4,146, and then FICA and IBR $708. The 4% increase applies to environmental health because it ensures fairness and alignment with the board decision that you guys made. Insurance costs, the board directed the insurance to be increased, so it actually increased from last year. So it increased by $202 for a single policy. The fuel costs, we kind of talked about that. That's to ensure that staff can deliver appropriate services and safety across the county. Radon testing, and again, I kind of explained this, it's offset by what we get back. The well sampling, it decreased. And again, this is due to a combination of lower upfront costs to perform the service and greater reimbursements from the grant. On the back end, reflecting more efficient service delivery and effective grant management. And then the repairs and prorated are on there, and these are minor adjustments necessary to maintain operational costs and align with the usage.
Last year we had 500 in repairs and I suggested to move that to 1,000. And can't get much fixed anymore for $500.
Anything else?
Nope, not for that one.
So it was a decrease of 14.8% in that bucket.
Yep. On your second sheet, Lisa, actual revenue, actual expense, you showed a difference of 17,448. Second sheet, yep. So that just shows you're getting revenue to offset the whole expenditure of the budget?
That's correct. So the difference between, yes, the revenue and expenses, that is what it is right now. If you look at the current one, I believe we have not used any technical accounting funds for his budget for that, but in the current fiscal year.
Any questions on the environmental health? All right, let's move to public health.
And then, yep, in the public health, I'll have you do the same. So this will be an overview of the public health department's budget, highlighting the key cost drivers, including insurance and board-directed wage adjustments. Shows how the revenue offsets and efficiencies were considered, and provide context on our strategic and succession plans through the year of 2028, as well as our efforts to secure additional funding.
Some on the revenue side up on the screen.
So revenue, the donations line, and this would be donations for our immunization clinic. We can't charge for immunizations, however, we can collect a donation fee, which everybody usually pays. The Medicaid, this would be Medicaid payments. Medicare would be Medicare payments. The private insurance reimbursement would be, of course, private insurances. The reimbursement, private pay homemaker would be private pay full fee homemaker clients, so we only do full fee now for our homemaker and any service, I guess, we do full fee. The private pay AmeriCare, this would be full fee for nursing and aid services. Our other health fees would be our CDAC services that we provide. Other health fees, reimbursement, Hawkeye, if you're following me. This would be for the VA nursing and aid and any NEI 3A that we do. The elder waiver is the next line down. That would be for Medicaid homemaker. Next line down, this would be reimbursements from the VA to do homemaker services. Other sources, I believe we have 0 in there. Reimbursements and refunds, and then that's just self-explanatory. Donations in Healthy Foot Clinics. So we do foot clinics where we charge $30 per person to do toenail clinics and things like that. If we have staffing, we're able to go out into the different communities and do that for more additional revenue. Again, when we have staffing to go out and do that, but we do it once a month at our building. And then we do have a few residents that if we're out and about in the community doing visits and they're located around where we're at, we will stop at their home and do that too. Just kind of a increase of revenue, and it helps the county residents out for sure. Sale of supplies, this would be if a client needs something and needed to buy it from us, which is really rare because we're not a medical supply place. So immunization grant, that would be our grant. COVID-19, we don't have that grant anymore. Farmer influenza grant, 0 right now. We did do a little bit of work in there. I think we have it through the end of this month. So just trying to do whatever we can for outreach and getting farmers immunized for the flu. The emergency preparedness, that would be our grant again. And then the CVS is our local public health service grant.
And all those grants, you try to get all the revenue you can from those?
Yes.
Okay.
So we use, the grants that we currently have, we use 100% of those. And then we're currently looking for the other grants and things, which it was hard to include in our estimate this year because we've applied for them and stuff, but I don't have an amount to put in there. So as we get those, that would increase revenue also.
And you can see they brought in 394, 287 so far in the first half. So I think our revenue, again, we're trying to be fairly conservative to not overestimate that. With the 100,000 you guys gave us in October-ish, we're starting to see that revenue come in from the full-time aide. The nurse, she does have a couple of interviews. So by the time we get that person hired and trained, it's probably gonna be February, mid-February, into February. You don't see that revenue from that until April or so. So I think we're on track. I think we'll bring in more than the 654.
Just remember you guys cut 3 people to now we get back one. We're still 1.5 short what we originally had back in 24, 25.
No, I get it.
And I think currently we have 5 staff members filling in for those 2 that we don't have, of course, because we have to distribute that. And then when we get an increase of, both calls and going out into the community and referrals, that kind of gets kind of hectic, but we work together as a good team, so,
So you pretty much assume that you're gonna bring in the whole revenue
yes,
this current fiscal year.
yes.
Any questions on the revenue board? If not, we'll go to the expense side. You should put these in order for me.
They are in order to mix them up.
All right, expense of public health.
All right, so the medical lab supplies, this would be for vaccines. So this would be, we order flu vaccines, TB testing, serum, and then tetanus shots. And we're able to bill these to the insurance companies, or charge full fee when we do these things. Safety hazardous waste disposal, so this would be the disposal of our sharps, like our needles and things like that. Usually it's minimal, we bring it back maybe a couple times a year. We do have a partnership with the hospital where we bring our sharps to the hospital to do that. IM grants, this would be things for like newspaper ads for the flu clinics, needles, gloves, infection control, bandages, that type of stuff. We are reimbursed through our immunization grant for some of those supplies, and the newspaper ads and things like that. Board of Health, this would be for newspaper ads. All the salaries are listed there too.
I don't mean to interrupt, but you didn't have a number for the IM grant, did you?
You have zero in there.
Yep, I was just explaining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just, oh.
Because some of them, if you see like there's an expense in the line, we had zero, but
Okay, no, that's fine, I just wanted to make sure.
We don't claim mileage, when the board members claim mileage.
yep, so under Board of Health, that would be mileage too. However, our Board of Health members don't claim any mileage. Okay, so, over to OT, unless somebody. So down to OT shift pay,
Where,
it's below all of those salaries.
Right
Right
there,
there,
9,000.
yep, right at the top.
Salaries just include a 4% days.
So this would be the OT half overtime of that line. So aides, if the aides is off, the only time we have overtime is if the aide is off and we have to cover, since there's only 4 of them. Nurses rarely use overtime because Ann and I try to jump in, and do whatever we can to prevent that, of course. And then if we're able to move, an admission or something from the weekend to a weekday in order to avoid overtime, we do that too. The only time we have to really go out is if we have like a pick line or a dressing change or something that comes up. The overtime shift pay rate, this would be for the 24-hour on-call pay. Because we're a 24-hour agency, we have to be available 24 hours a day. So we have on call for that. Stationaries and forms, again, this would be self-explanatory office supplies. If we have to print admission papers or discharge papers, they're all carbon copied, so we have to have them printed for us. But we do copy what we can in the office. Magazines, books, and websites, this would be for the coding manual that we have to do in order to code to bill the insurance companies. Medical lab supplies, this would be for infection control things like gloves, sanitizer, and wipes, syringes, lab supplies, wound care supplies, ostomy supplies, that type of stuff. Medical laboratory supplies, I think there's nothing in there. Postage would be for stamps, to send out like our cost report and things like that. We have really cut down a lot. We do a lot of, we don't send the patient schedules out anymore. We call them and use different avenues so we can stay away from the postage cost there. Mileage for administrator and staff nursing, we have 0. Mileage for public health. So this would be usually, I can't go to any trainings or anything, but the required quarterly meetings I have to go to in Mason City. So that's included there. Mileage client costs, this would be the mileage for home health. Meeting mileage, we have 0 because we had to cut that out, so we don't go there. Mileage for client calls for homemaker, this would be the aide and homemaker mileage. Telephone and internet, this would be for cell phones and tablets. And we do have 12 cell phones and I think 13 actually, or no, 12. So 12 cell phones, 4 tablets, and we pay $480. So I think that's a pretty good cost. And then Butler Bremer would be included in this line too. Lodging, and meals and things like that, we have 0, because we don't have money to do that, in our department. Meals for the administrator, we have a little bit in here, if I go to a local public health meeting in Mason City, that's nice to eat before I come back. And usually that goes till 1 or 2 o'clock, so a little bit in staff meals, that's self-explanatory. Auditing and clerical and other services, this is for our cost report, and this is required. We have looked around and asked other agencies too, and this is about the most cost efficient, best option, I guess, for the cost report. So there's, so we did look at that to see if there was a cost savings. That did go up this year to $3,425 to do the cost report, and this is a CMS requirement for us. And this would be whether we do home health or public health or immunizations, it's a cost. So auditing and clerical, this would be for our billing software, public health and home health, healthcare first, which would be our client surveys, which are required. So only required things in the item. Data processing software, again, this is for healthcare strategies and other charting software. Education and training, we have none in there. Education and training and admin and assistant admin, we have a little bit in that, and then the staff nursing training line. So this would be for our health stream software, so, and our CPR that we are required to have. So this health stream, so it would cover all of our trainings that we're required to do, including HIPAA, bloodborne pathogens, harassment trainings we do on there on our own and stuff like that. So they're kind of required trainings, equipment and maintenance, this would be our copier fee every month. Dues and memberships, so this would be Iowa Healthcare Association membership, National Association of Counties membership, Public Health Ed Association, and then our P.O. Box rental is in that too. Let's see. And then we have 0 in a couple of those lines. The interstomal therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy is self-explanatory. We have to pay for them to come in and do that, and then we're reimbursed from the insurance company for those items. Down to emergency preparedness, we do get, this would be for cell phones again, but we get reimbursed $100 each month for our cell phones through the emergency preparedness grant. Computers and hardware, that would be for like any computers that we need, office equipment and furniture, FICA, IFRS, insurance, prorated, that's all self-explanatory. Then I have a couple handouts again, just kind of showing. And then if you flip that one, it'll show exactly which lines that we're increasing. Okay, so the first one again shows our expenses and our revenue, just kind of broke out so you can see where it's all going. The second sheets that I gave you are the past few years. If you go back, it shows that public health has had a decrease in their budget each year. And it just shows both environmental health and public health what the budget has done each year. So kind of a summary on this. So last year for insurance is one of the lines that we raised. So the single policy was $907 last year. Family plan was $1,666. This year, we were directed to put $920 for a single plan and $1,690 for a family plan. So this was an increase of 5.03% in insurance over the past year. So the overall increase in insurance was $7,144, and this was unavoidable. We obviously have to put that in there.
Well, we don't have to. We can change the handbook.
Well, we kind of need that, yeah.
Just to clarify.
That would be up to you guys.
Just to clarify.
Following direction, we have increased the insurance. So the Board of Supervisors, again, with the wages, and recommended a 4% wage increase for all staff, following the guidance and due, to fairness across the board. If it's fair for one department, it should be fair for all. So the salaries increased $56,760. FICA increased $4,342, and then IFRS $5,358. And that would be a total personal related increase of $66,460. Again, this increase was set by or recommended by the board and applied equally to all employees decided upon, ensuring fairness across the county departments and no discrimination. The physical therapy, occupational therapy lines, this is for costs associated with physical and occupational therapy. It did increase, however, like we discussed earlier, the increases are reflected in corresponding revenue increases. While the environmental health budget is separate, I just want to throw this in there, it's managed by the same department. The 26-27 budget year for environmental health, we decreased the expenses by 14.8%, while the revenue slightly increased, and this demonstrates effective cost containment and operational efficiency within the department, which helps to ensure the county resources are being used wisely. By managing one program efficiently, it allows necessary investments to other programming such as public health to support critical services without adding undue strain to the overall county budget.
Did you mention what's the overall increase to public health budget?
Yep, it would be,
Do that too.
it went from $1,174,094 to $1,256,090. So that would be a total increase of $81,996.
456. Yeah, I don't know what tree your numbers there.
It's a little bit less than 7%.
The increase of 90,964. And 60-some thousand of that's salary, FICA, and IFRS. And then the vast majority of it, the increased insurance, but we decreased mileage, those kind of wash out. The other part of that increase is PT, ST, and OT, your therapy services, which are reimbursed. And I did want to touch on that 100,000 you guys gave us to hire the full-time and the part-time employee. Like I said, she's in with interviews, so I figured out that cost, or she figured out that cost. And then, what was it, 100, in the new budget year, it's gonna cost us 103,000 with the 4% increase for those two employees.
And of course, for the homemaker, that would be an increased revenue that we're gonna start, like you said, Jeremy, to see in the next couple of months. That part-time nurse will take on call, hoping to do some of the opioid programming that we talked about, maybe get some programs that we can have people come into our building and hand out that Narcan and train on the Narcan and do different programs like that, which will help the budget, because that would be from the opioid programming. Like I said, we are collaborating with others to do some of those grants and things like that, which hopefully this part-time person could help with. And then, like I said, we're trying to absorb the secretary position and the RN position right now, so that would open us up to do additional.
And then 103,000, I figured that's with FICA, IFRS, and health insurance.
So usually 103,
Yeah, so that'll be with the 4% increase.
and you haven't hired this nurse yet?
She has 2 interviews this week.
Just trying to figure out how you get hired sometime probably towards the end of January and get a raise in July.
We haven't approved that raise, I'm just doing it for number wise. If we did, that's what
Any questions?
I see your point.
I just want to add to that, some of the different things or people we've been collaborating with, I've talked about that strategic and succession planning that will go through 2028. It includes in there things about sustainability for our department, leadership, continuity, service delivery, and things like that. We are also collaborating with the University of Iowa on some things, Iowa Health and Human Services, Iowa Cancer Consortium. I had mentioned that we are partnering with Marion County Public Health to do that Healthy Hometown grant. And yeah, I just wanted to throw them in there. We're doing a lot of work. We've been working really hard to try to get our collaborations with other people in line and look for programming and budgeting and things like that.
Has there been any meetings with the state of Iowa, if they're gonna merge anybody, or just like to do with mental health?
They had mentioned it, but
It's kind of pulled back.
it has
I
been,
think they're having issues with being able to help.
that is correct. And a lot of policies need to be changed in order for public health to be merged like that. So that would all have to be on the agenda to be changed. So, no, I hope this gave you guys a good,
It does.
we just want to be transparent with our budget, and let you know where the taxpayer money is going. We are very frugal with our budget.
I did figure out current fiscal year, 896,858, so 896,000 of our current 1.174 budget is strictly wages, which is
Just a question, and I don't know the answer to this one, so I'm gonna ask it. When the cuts happened last June, you had to decertify homemakers, or, so that's back in order now?
That's correct, yep,
Just the CDAC,
Just,
ready to decertify.
yes. It
So
took a
that-
while to get recertified.
So that new person's doing all that, or the current staff before that new hire, that aide?
What was your question, Ian? Sorry.
So they all,
They all do.
Yeah,
So I'm just wondering why it got decertified and then,
because when we got rid of that aid, so we had, obviously VAPS, we had to take care of first. And then we took care of the homemaker, and then CDAC, respite on down the line, so we had to prioritize that stuff. And
I'm
that
not in
was,
the medical field, I'm just trying to figure out, those cuts decertified it, but only one person got it back on.
and she is booked and they're still not, they have waiting lists.
we do have a waiting list for homemaker and respite, yes.
So she's not short on work.
Just a question, I didn't know the answer, so. Anything else on the budgets of environmental health, public health, revenue and expenditures? Our goal is to get all this put together this week sometime and then bring back a total overview on next Monday's board agenda, so we'll see where we're at, and if Sheila asked, re-estimate, I think you explained some of them today, but if you could put those in numbers, like if you're gonna bring in all the revenue, and if there's gonna be any give back to the budget, or if you're gonna spend all of it. You guys have the right to, so. Just trying to figure out a closer ending fund balance and expenditures, so.
I think the revenue will not be the way it is, right?
It won't decrease,
No.
The revenue won't decrease, so we
Yeah,
can count on
revenue
that.
will not be the way it is.
But then your total budget of 1.174, you think you'll spend all that?
we can look at that, I can't, without looking at it, I don't wanna,
Yeah.
but yeah, we can look at that for sure.
She's right on target, if not,
I mean, yeah, we're at
Yeah.
617, so it's getting close.
It is gonna be close. And if it's true that you're gonna spend it all, that's fine. We just wanna know if there's extra ending fund balance to build the next year's expense. So,
I appreciate your time and your working with me.
Yep. Thank you. Any other questions before we leave? All right.
And Scott, you're concerned about the raise the act, what's our employee handbook say about new hires?
Probably 6 months probation
6 months or a year,
Yeah.
or a year.
so they don't get raises till after that.
So that would be something, I mean, obviously it's up to the Board of Health, but if they choose in 6 months to fit it in,
and then the
6
one
months.
you hired back, we would, let her start at the 6 month probation. We eliminated the probation on her,
that's correct. Yeah, it just depends, I mean, depends on who's hired.
hires back.
The full-time aide we hired, she was one that was laid off.
All right, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
So before the meeting started, I sent out emails to Dave, Gorman, and Shirley. I said 10:45 to Dave, but we'll pass that. I guess I'm asking if you guys wanna take a little break now, or do you wanna see Shirley's? Or do you wanna take a bathroom break? Do you wanna take a
Just 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Alright, we'll recess for 5 minutes. Are we gonna take a lunch break or not? Dave's budgets and Shirley's, and then we have the other ones. I guess we'll discuss it after this 5-minute recess now.
What time are you gonna put down for 5 minutes? Or at least
11:07. Steve, you wanna put that? Yeah.
Thank you.
gonna go back in here on January 19th, it's 11:13. We are gonna meet with Recorder Shirley Trina. Good morning. Department update and then a budget review. Any quick update?
We have just got finished and we still have stragglers coming in for ORV renewals. We actually had a few more, I think, hunting and fishing licenses this year. I think people have gotten away from that, actually, the hunting anyway. And so we sold a few more deer tags this year. Otherwise, it's just status quo.
All right, so the first one on the screen is the revenue for your recorder's office. Nothing really changed much. You had a little bit more for snow at ATV boat.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
she's lost her voice today, so I'm gonna help her out. Otherwise, you had a little bit more for passport photos. Must
We
be up.
raised the fee from $10 to $15
Perfect.
and haven't had any complaints. And so, yeah, everything goes out, paper goes out, so.
So on the revenue side, it went from 79,100 to 82,800. Any questions on the revenue side? If not, we move to the expense side. It looks like the 4% went in for herself and her deputy. And I didn't see nothing else really change.
No,
So everything else stays the same, a little bit of adjustment to FICA and vapors, and a little bit to health insurance. So total budget went from $192,500 to $198,787 due to wages and benefits. Any questions? If not, she also has a recorder surcharge fund she manages. You went down a little bit on the revenue, $100. And then on the expense side, you put in $15,000. Also, restricted fund does not use GBGS funds. And that full cash is sitting at, recorder surcharge.
1898.
How much?
99.18, 98 cents. Okay.
Any questions on the recorder surcharge, pooled cash, or the budget itself? If not, thanks Shirley. It's self-explanatory.
Hope you feel better.
I feel fine. I just,
Must have been too much cheering at an event.
yeah, it was my birthday.
Have a good day. All right, moving on down to custodian. Morning, Dave.
Good morning.
Department update. Do you have anything to help?
Nothing new since last week, really. We still have, one of the local, electrician coming in to drill holes in floors and whatever for fiber cable.
Fiber project, yep.
That's still ongoing, and I think it will be for a couple of weeks yet, so. But he's mainly working on Saturdays, so.
There was a request, and I know we really can't take a vote, this came in on a Saturday when I was sitting in the gym. By one of the 7 electricians that were bidding the panel project, wanted to know the completion date. We failed to put that in the spec sheet, but I think we need it done by fiscal year for sure. But my response to this individual was by April 15th. If you guys disagree with me, that gives 3 months, 4 months. But if you want it done sooner, let me know and we can put it on the agenda for next week, but bids are not due anyway for another 2 weeks anyway. But if you guys want a specific date of completion, let me know, I can put it on the agenda. But after I responded back with that, he goes, don't worry, my summer help's gonna be showing up sooner than later, so. Then the question was void. So, if you know what I mean. But we did not put a completion date on. Did anybody else reach out to you?
No, nobody else requested that, so.
So. Should have put it as soon as possible, but we didn't. So then moving on to your budgets.
Okay.
Or, I guess, Heritage, you, explain that water damage that you found, or,
Oh, yeah, when Deb was doing some painting in two of the rooms on the south end, you know, just to kind of, like what we had discussed at the meeting, to prep those for office space. We found one room that had some water damage in the sheetrock on the ceiling, nothing major. Probably a 4x4 sheet would fix it. And we just figured that we'd have that fixed before she continued to paint. It's something that occurred years ago when they were putting buckets in the attic to catch the water from the leaky roofs. So.
yeah, this was all before even my time.
Yeah.
Then the new roof got put on in 2016.
Yes.
But we are finding buckets or garbage cans still up there.
There are a lot of them up there.
Oh, my gosh.
They were putting buckets up in the attic to catch the leaky roof.
But as of now, there's no leaky roof.
No.
We'll clarify that. We're
Yes.
just finding this now.
Mhm.
But we need to fix it, I feel, and it falls under maintenance, so.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be a high dollar thing to fix it.
No. And it's perfect time to retake plaster before they paint.
Yes, yep.
Just wanted to bring that up. I was told that last week sometime, so.
Mhm. Yep.
All right, first budget would be, let's do the big one, courthouse.
Courthouse.
This is Department 51, revenue is up on the screen.
I might have it called general services.
Yeah, it's general
No, I
services.
got courthouse revenue on it.
Courthouse.
Yeah.
Nothing, so who prepared these worksheets is myself, Dave, and Sheila this year. We went through them in a meeting together. Some stuff Dave controls, some stuff Sheila controls. But we'll just go through these all. If you have any questions. Revenue side for the courthouse. Oh yes, this is one of my big items I need to ask. You brought up the pop machine.
Yes.
You wanna fill us in on how old that machine is, can't find parts?
Yeah, the pop machine that we have downstairs is getting pretty old. There's only 4 of the selections in it that work anymore. And we can't add anything else, which we really don't need to. But I told Jake a while back here that if we end up having trouble with that pop machine, it's more than likely gonna be scrap material, and we'll have to try to find a different one.
So you can see on the revenue, he does bring in about $1,500 a year in revenue. We can go to the expense side and see how much it costs for that soda can. But it does bring in money. You did say you went on the internet. Did you find one?
Yeah, usually Facebook Marketplace, there's usually quite a few on there for sale. Now, the trick is finding one that isn't totally junk, you know, from the start, but, I've seen them on there ranging anywhere from $300 to $2,000.
So just a discussion, if something happens, you want him to replace it with a used one, or is it done for the life of Chickasaw County? General people use it, I bet juries use it, I bet staff uses it. You have it 75 cents a can, we're making a little bit of money, but not making a lot of money, but I guess what is the board decision on if that machine just goes black?
Years ago, that machine wasn't used that much, but I found in the last 3-4 years, it's used a lot. I fill it in some, you know, in the not so cold months of the year, I fill it every week, so. I mean, it is an item that gets used quite a bit, so.
It's probably somewhat self-sufficient, I would guess. I would say.
It's pretty much it.
The key.
You know, the trick would be to just to find another one that's decent shape, which I don't see a big problem with that, so.
So I just want to bring that up. So any questions on the revenue side for basic general supplemental for revenue of 51?
When I went through these budgets, I just basically went down through every line item. It looked like we were about halfway, you know, on our expenditure for what we had budgeted. I just kind of left it the same. I think there was a couple that Jake and I had decided that looked like they were gonna go up, so we added a little bit to them. Otherwise, my budgets were all pretty close to the way they were last year.
Yeah. So 51 courthouse is up on the screen. Gardner and Company still at their rate that we got them under contract for. I think we go into the next 3 years contract with them, we'll just do an RFP on those guys, so. Anything else change? Dave did get the $150. I'm just gonna advocate, I think it needs to be revisited, but
And I did move the intercog to, rural services, and that's, dues and memberships for intercog.
yes.
So,
Part-time salary is based off of the individual that works 5 hours a weekend and then up to 25 hours at that $20 we gave direction to max for the part-time. So that's why there's 32,000 in there. Nothing changed. Nothing for mileage is in there, that's 0 again. It was 50 last year, page 2.
Go back to page 1, horticulture. The last 2 years, we spent more than the 2,000 that was budgeted. Is there a reason you kept that 2,000?
Well, as far as the flower gardens and stuff go, we did spend quite a bit on those. I think we have some areas around the courthouse that, in the coming year might need a little bit of attention and whatever. We just basically left it the same, so we didn't go over if we do a few smaller projects here and there, so.
And we can raise it, we can get to the bottom, and there's still like 40% of the budget left in there. We can change a line item, but there's a lot of leftover money in this budget every year. Good question, Steve.
Yeah, shaping up the flower gardens this year, we spent more than usual on those, but I think after last year, I think maintaining those won't take near as much money, so.
Page 2 then, we did notice a sewer service on all 4 department buildings in the city of New Hampton. I believe they went up on service rates, so you can see we're at 468 already. So we did double every department in New Hampton for the sewage service. Building repairs and maintenance, we always put 20,000 in there pending whatever, right? Really don't use it unless we need it.
Well, we kind of use that number, like if you look at electrical repairs, you know what I mean?
Electrical repairs a lot this year, and we knew that's because we changed panel already and put some ground stuff in. Remind you, private auditor doesn't really care about line items, they care about the overall service area first, and then second, individual budgets. Administration services, 75 grand, only spent so far about 11,000.
Do we want to take that down, or do we want to get that down?
I've never been an advocate to turn that down because some years things happen, I guess, and we need that for outside counsel or HR issues. You guys can take it down if you want. I think I'd be cautious to send that item down for administration services. You guys okay with 75,000?
I'm good with it.
Paving sidewalk, we always put 10,000 in. You said there's some concrete needed this year.
I definitely know that this summer we're gonna have some repairs to do. I would definitely leave 10,000 in there, knowing the cost of that kind of work anymore. And it's possible we might go over that, but we'll just kind of see how everything looks here come springtime. But we haven't spent any money on concrete repair in, several years now, so I know this year we're gonna have some.
So for general basic, then the overall was 379, it went down to 372. But you can see we've only spent 121,000, so we've only spent about 36% of that total budget. So this budget is the one that gives back a lot. We'll do a better job of figuring out what you're not gonna do before July 1st.
Yeah, the whole building like this, you never know what you're gonna have to spend on it.
Exactly.
That's what makes this budget kind of hard to figure, because if you trim it down too much, then you're in trouble there too. So.
General supplemental then is Dave's and part-time custodian, FICA, IPERS, health insurance. And then the big ones are also in there, the tort liability, the real property, the equipment insurance, and the workers' comp. Any questions on the expense? Oh, this is where she also moved the rural service intercog to rural surface basic, the 2750. You can see the central areas listed in there from the current year of 200,000, and you already spent last week a claim for 72,000. So you can see that on 51. Any questions on 51? If not, we'll move on to next one pops up here is the heritage revenue. Department 26, Heritage Center. DHS, since we allow them a room, they do that CASC report every year based off of expenditures. 27.5, and then in the bottom we have the capital project land rent with the current tenant of 24,280. Moving on to the heritage expense. Dave, help me out. This is where your custodian is half paid out of?
Yeah, I think we were doing half out of the heritage, a fourth out of LEMC, and a fourth out of
Community service.
community services, yes.
Oh, shoot, I got 51 right there. I need. Is that the wrong one?
That's revenue.
Oh, heritage revenue. I need heritage expense. That's what we got.
26.
No, it's 51. Oh, see it says down here, heritage expense, but when I open it, it's the jail.
This one?
Yeah. So when I open this one, it's 51.
Oh, shoot.
Do you guys have heritage expense?
You guys have it where it says 26? If not,
It does say 51.
okay, then I'll run off these, okay? Can you go to a different one?
Yes, I'll do the jail.
It's really.
No, it's the same. Dave, you have much on the jail revenue?
On the jail,
Oh, I don't think there is. The jail expense, sorry,
Does that come up right now?
45.
Yep, good.
So
Sorry about
45
that.
is up on the screen, Dave. This is the jail building. Pretty much everything moved over the same. We can ask questions. You did put $500 more in for custodial supplies. For some reason they're using like 3,100 already this year.
yeah, the custodial supplies over there, you know, that building is 24/7, so as far as cleaning supplies, paper towels, toilet paper, things like that, all of that stuff is going up over the last year, so I just added a little bit more to it so we don't get behind.
Natural gas, LP gas, yes, it looks like they've only used 1,300 so far, but it's gonna be a cold January and February, so. Left out an 8,000. He did up the electricity to another 3,000. Otherwise,
And you guys, moved up the stairs.
we did the sewer again, yes. From 500, we doubled it to 1,000. Overall, this budget went up about $3,000 from 60,230 up to 64,580. Any questions on the jail building? What did you put in here for air conditioners? So we always have that question. They're pretty new over there though.
We've got everything updated pretty well over there, so air conditioners, should be good for the coming years, so I didn't include any extra for those.
The basement heat is figured out yet?
As far as the heat down in the basement goes, well, we've installed 2 exhaust fans down there, and that's helped some.
Okay.
It's not a perfect solution, but it's helping anyways, so.
All right, no questions on the jail at this time. We'll move on to the paper handout of the heritage expense. This is better, it's 23,300 is 1/4 of,
That's one.
sorry, that's right, 1/2 of Deb Rosaki. And we did the $150, I believe. I don't think anything else really changed, Dave.
Yeah, the Heritage, we left that pretty much alone. I don't recall that we added too much at all out there. I guess it just, one of the things that was kind of an unknown is, whether the board wants to move forward with gutting the north end for future use or.
Scott brought that up. We're gonna have that discussion next Monday or Tuesday on vision of a 3-year building plan. I think we'll get all these numbers put together and then see where we're at.
As far as the budget goes out there, the building itself in the last 3 years, I think we've done a good job of getting everything updated and back to the condition that it needs to be. So I don't, unless it's something unforeseen, I don't see the budget out there doing anything different this year than last, so.
Unless you find more garbage cans up in the attics. Then we might have to.
We can have a garage sale.
Anything with the heritage budget? If not, we'll go to the community service building, Department 46. This is where the WIC lease is currently, $30 a month at the 360. Moving on then to expenditures. This is a quarter of Deb's salary. And I don't think anything else really changed again. We did the sewer, and then we added a little bit more for electricity.
Does emergency management pay for anything out of this? Is nothing reimbursed?
That would be the, oh, never mind.
I was gonna bring that up. That's a good point. I apologize for not bringing it up during that time. We, the county, does house 3 buildings for the agency.
With no cost.
Yes. At no cost. Good point, Steve. This is one of them. The LEMC that we haven't talked about yet is another one for office and storage, and then the Heritage Cold Storage, which this board has been paying for ever since I know. I believe the agency 29C does state any government agency can give buildings for rent, but maybe they should be paying rent then. But it's a good question.
Yeah.
I can pose it as your member on that commission, but good point. It's in one of my notes. I failed to bring that one up, but yes. So 3 buildings that we do. So back to the community service building. We always talk about the air conditioners. That building 1994 built. It's almost 32 years old on the original.
Right.
Any issues with them yet?
No, they've been working well, but like you say, they're getting some age on them. If I had to, make a recommendation of at some point starting to get a rotation going on replacing furnaces and air conditioners, that would be the building. I mean, they are working good, but who knows?
There's 3 units in there.
Correct.
One that does the conference room and a hallway, and then, conference room.
One does classroom.
Yep.
And then the remainder of the building, it's kind of divided in half, north and south, as far as one air conditioner and heat unit. And then on the office side, there's another one.
And then in the garage, there's no AC, but there's heat with the tube.
That has the tube heat in the ceiling, correct? Yep.
So, any question? I mean, we still have building permit improvements of 20,000. You still have it in today's budget. You have it in next year's. Overall, 55,720 to 59,450, probably due to wages and benefits, and the sewer usage. Any questions with this CSP? If not, the last one is the LEMC. I don't think there's any revenue for that one, so we'll go through expenses. Again, 25% of Deb's salary is out of that one. She does the cleaning and pretty much all the cleaning.
Right,
of that
yeah.
building. Maintenance wise, supplies, everything else stays the same. I didn't see any changes.
Yeah, that building operates pretty easily. I mean, on the budget that we have here, barring anything major going on, but as far as furnaces go, air conditioning and everything else in that building, everything's been updated pretty well, so.
How's that, help me out, guys, not the thing above the roof, the,
Oh, that cupola?
cupola. From the road, it looks like it might need some help. It looks like it's,
The structure of that hasn't been real great since we've been there. We haven't had any leakage or anything like that.
that was built for the air conditioner in the attic that fed the old funeral home.
Correct.
For excess air conditioner in need of it. I don't believe we use any of it.
We do not. No, no.
One of these days, it's gonna start leaking, in my opinion, wear and tear and fading. But long story short, knock on wood, it's not leaking yet.
The only other thing that I can say at the LEMC is, as far as the parking lot and the driveway go, that concrete's busted up pretty badly. Now, eventually, we're gonna have to look at that. I know it's a thing that's easily put off, but,
And it's probably gonna get worse every time when you have a truck in there with a plow that's pushing.
yeah, well, the guys that are down there moving the snow, I've instructed them to keep the blade up a little bit as to hopefully salvage the concrete, not bust it up any worse or chunk it out, so. And so far, it's been okay, but if you look at that parking lot, that's probably the worst parking lot we have in all the county buildings. It's not in good shape.
And even if you would do a resurfacing or all concrete, I bet you're looking potentially at 80 to 100,000,
Oh, I think so.
Easily.
you know.
And I thought about trying to get, the far east area there seal coated, but we never could get in contact with the company that does the work around town to get that done. But I don't know what the cost of seal coating would be either, so.
It'd be, I don't know, on that far east side, it'd be to our advantage just to tear that out and put grass.
So
You only need just that area where, to the east, where like Dave and Michelle are.
So you do have all the Pioneer Cemetery trailers out there.
Those get stored out there in the wintertime.
Well, we could move them to the Heritage though.
We could.
Depends on what you're using it for, it's part of your discussion. But yes, I would say, no one uses that, I mean, it's not like there's vehicles going in and out of there all the time.
Yeah,
No.
What's in that little shed? Is that where all the election cones are and?
Yes, it is, yep. Then we store pop cans in there. Seasonal lawn equipment gets put in there. So yeah, that little building is used quite a bit.
So you have to move that up or?
you can drive across grass.
Correct.
Yeah. Can't be any worse than broken concrete now, so.
And isn't that half asphalt material and the concrete's all in the front? Or is it all asphalt?
Okay, from where
Where they park?
It's concrete about halfway to the east, and then the remainder of that is basically what I would call a seal coating job of some kind, P-rock, asphalt, stuff like that. But that's the part that's getting pretty bad. Now, it would probably cost a considerable amount to get that dug up and tore out of there.
Yeah,
Probably.
I'm sure it wouldn't get you.
Right. You'd have to have it,
You'd lose the ongoing maintenance of it.
then we'd have to have dirt and seed it again, and
And if you don't get enough of it out, then it doesn't, then if you get a hot summer, it dries up and burns up.
Plus more.
Always a positive.
But yeah.
There's a lot of parking there, there's a lot of space. Underutilized space.
LEMC budget was 35,000 currently, it went up to 37. I'm gonna say, one huge one was the sewer from $200 up to 1,000. Sorry, 700.
I think that's probably the only thing we raised there.
And then FICA insurance is for the for debt. Any questions with LEMC? If not, those are Dave's 4 building budgets with staff included. I'm just gonna wrap around to the truck. Are you guys willing to take that donation? I think you talked to the private auditor.
Yep, and all you have to do is transfer.
So no revenue source move back or forth. It'd be an easy transfer. Now I guess it's time to either look at a truck for Chad department, and then get the blue truck to probably a recycling yard. Do we want to do that this fiscal year in a budget amendment, or do we want to put it in a budget? And we can talk in details again about does it need to go in Chad's budget, or we just allow a budget amendment of that price he gave us to do a state bid?
I'd be in favor of doing a budget amendment, you let them do it this year, that'd give you a truck quicker.
Okay.
Everybody else okay to
Yeah,
prepare that for a budget amendment?
Find out what, how long it's gonna take for him to get a
He
truck.
said 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
You think anybody would be interested in that old car?
As is,
I'll bet you could probably sell it.
you think so?
Yeah. I just seen one sell the other day, and it's a whole lot worse.
More than junk salvage?
$600.
Wow. As is, we don't want liability on it.
Right. You're listed through pink ribbon or blue, purple, there you go, whatever color it is, that website. I can't remember.
So yeah, I'll work with you to get that on the budget amendment. We're gonna have another one for the heat pump coming soon. At the nature center, so. Otherwise, you have any questions for us, Dave?
No, I think that covers it.
I'm just gonna go back again. We did have direction with Dave at $150. Advocate for him, because, it seems like he's a one-man show. Put Dave at 150 only gives him, he makes $27.58 currently. So $150 to that would be $29.08. You guys heard a lot of presentations in the last 3 weeks. He works 40 hours a week. I think he takes care of a lot of buildings for us and the citizens. One person that I think needs moved up would be him.
I think we should double up 150.
So three.
My opinion.
I mean, he's just not maintenance. He does early weekends, early days. He's probably here today at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, make sure everything's okay. But
Well, honestly, if something happened to you, Dave, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, we have no backup at this point, so.
So do I have a consensus for that?
we're still discussing. And I've talked about this many years, and I've talked to Dave about it. You know, I think our backup, Travis, would be calling a contractor.
Yeah.
With the boiler at all these buildings, with the heritage boiler, even the courthouse chiller. Does any of us know what to do? Or I think you might have some kind of notes in the basement, but.
Yeah, it wouldn't cover everything, no, but. And it's just a matter of learning the buildings, which, you know, in anybody's case, it just takes time, so.
And we can talk about this because we're in budget work session, but did anybody apply yet for a part-time job?
No.
So. I don't know, I can't speak about everybody, but I think there's other government agencies hurting too to find custodians and maintenance people.
Yeah.
Is it okay to move that into $3?
Yeah.
Just see what it looks like. We can always go down or readjust.
Yeah.
Yeah, consensus is to move that line item. So then it would be at $30.58
$30.58.
times 2088. Anything else for the buildings or Dave Gorman? If not, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Other department budgets.
I'm gonna do that before you do the.
Oh, we got one more action item, I guess. We do. All right, let me find my sticky note here. All right, one more action item. Discuss April 5th, 2026 quarterly installment payment that the cities are obligated to make to the EMS department under the 2080 agreement. So this is our quarterly discussion. You guys all have a number of $579,014.63. That's gonna be included in your letter. That is the January 15th full cash report pulled on early 16th morning. So Friday morning I was pulled. Right, Cheryl?
Correct.
We've had this discussion many times, and we've had it with the director. Since we had a consensus to only allow one payment next year in their budget work session, I think something should be asked for of the cities. That I'm not a full payment. And so a full payment to the fund would be $134,288. Half payment would be $67,144. A quarter payment of the quarter is $33,572. I will always advocate that the county does and see more activities than the cities see. We have, you can list them off, you want board of supervisors meetings, county attorney input, payroll department, W-2s, payroll every 2 weeks, claims. I'm not saying we should not pay our fair share, but I think at some point we need to figure that out too. But any discussion on a payment, first of all, and second of all, do you want to take the full payment or not?
I know there's discussion that these cities haven't budgeted for this year, but if we're asking the budget for one payment for next year, we're getting money budget next year too. I mean, $579,000 to me is still more money they need in there. Just read out the 2080, number 22, says the supervisors agree to act in good faith with respect to potential modification to the amount of financial support the cities provide to the county each calendar year end. When possible, keep said amount at the lowest level necessary to fund, maintain, and operate the county department that provides EMS in a fiscally responsible manner. I think we got way more money in there than we need to meet that point. I think we could take a partial payment next year. And I'm right now I'm not in favor of doing a payment. That's just my opinion.
No, that's fine. My biggest worry is if we do get a new truck ordered for next fiscal year at, say, $300,000 trade-in, minus trade-in, you're gonna take that 520 down to 200,000, and then take one payment. Next year's payment's 141,000.
I thought Joel kind of said he wasn't really looking at one for next year, it'd be the year after.
So that's what we're talking about though. So next year's budget starts July 1st, ends June 30th of 27. Reminds you the 2080 is up to negotiations in 6 more months after that. Because we're in the 4th year.
Well, I would agree with you a couple months ago, Steve. I thought 500,000 was way more than we needed until he came in with that price of a new ambulance. Because we can't be certain what we're gonna get for trade-in. One would hope that we're gonna get 100,000 at least, somewhere in there, by the time we switch some of the things around. But I would guess I would be in favor of at least a quarter of a payment this year. And then see what we look, where we're at on the next year.
And then the issue seems like the liability, the July payment of torque equipment drains it so fast, because what is the payment?
55,000.
55,000.
55,000.
So we all know that's gonna be paid sometime by July 30th. To me, this is the last discussion to collect anything, if we want, in this fiscal year. Travis, anything?
I think we need to take something. I mean, in the last couple of months, we've seen it drop almost 50,000.
In 3 months.
Yeah. We need to take something.
I guess I look at it just as, the price of what a new ambulance is gonna cost, and what if something else goes wrong on there, and that loading system and cot system will run you $80,000 right there now. If we have paid for a truck and gotta spend another $80,000 to $100,000 on one of the other rigs, then we're getting pretty low.
Is it?
Yeah, kind of torn. I mean, I do agree with Steve, that's a little high, but the truck, if we're gonna budget for one of those, yeah, I'd say quarter or half, maybe. I lean more towards the quarter.
I mean, a quarter won't even cover the insurance, you know, so.
But it helps slow down.
And your thoughts are to have the cities pay, but not county?
At some point, that needs to be decided, I think. I mean, to me, nobody's paying for our cost.
I understand, I'm just
Yeah,
trying to see where
Yeah.
you're headed.
The only problem is, and I've heard it from a few people, if we don't pay any, what are these cities, I mean, they're gonna.
that's where that good faith is. They have to understand too. It's easy to write a check if they have the funds,
Yeah.
but they're not doing the local government work.
Well, there's over 30 new employees, you know.
Am I hearing anything for this letter being sent out?
Half payment was what,
$67,144.15.
I'll make a motion to. For the half.
Half of the quarter payment
Yep.
due on April 5th.
Yep.
Is there a second? I'll second for discussion. Motion by Travis, second by myself, for a half payment from the 6 cities in the county as presented to them in document of a total of $67,144.15. Remind you, we have not collected a payment for over, almost 2 years now. The threshold was $750, not knowing where this was gonna be at. In good faith, I don't wanna see it below 500,000. Not knowing those what ifs yet. The 67 will just cover the insurance roughly for the July payment. They did budget for 2 quarter payments this year, and a half of a quarter payment. I think that is very fiscally responsible. Any other discussion? Motion and second on the floor, do a roll call. Travis?
Aye.
Steve?
Hey,
Isaac?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake, aye. Motion is carried 4-1. All right, budget work session on anything else that we have given to us. We are meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow we have, you guys can see, Sheila did add a engagement letter, I think, or
Yep, I did an
additional agenda for
an engagement letter from
Garnier and Company.
Gardner Company for compliance.
Anyway, tomorrow we have secondary roads, budget. We have a letter to do for DHHS, Iowa State Extension's coming in, and VA. So there's a couple more we can go through quickly, is the townships.
Yeah, I hope they help.
So let's see here.
Should we start a township?
Township is pretty easy, it's pretty much the same.
I haven't changed anything.
Township is $10,000, they have only used $1,250. Remember, the clerks, I believe, get spike and hypers. That did not change, so total budget is $11,710. Any questions on the township?
Yeah, right there.
Moving on to unemployment.
Now, and I just put a number in here, and we had 80,000 last year. And that was the
That was through a budget
anticipation.
amendment too.
Yeah. And so this year, I just put 25,000 in
Yeah,
there.
so we can't go into details, I don't think it'd be right to do that, but total activity this year is 18,508. You guys think 25 will cover any things we decide next fiscal year on unemployment claims?
Do you want it higher?
So I'm asking, you guys want it higher? In the years past, when we didn't have any individuals laid off, it was $5,000, never really used it. Last year we went up to 80,000. Current activity is 18,508, and I believe I could probably state there's one or two currently on unemployment. Fair enough.
Mhm.
We see those claims when they get them from the state. Guys okay with 25,000?
Yeah.
Leave it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Rural recycling is general service basic is the contract with Gendro or LDP, is their new name, but they presented, what was it, 3% increase?
Yep.
Their new rate then is 30,485. That's pretty much self-explanatory unless you guys want to go out for a new method of recycling. And I think what I've been hearing, that's pretty reasonable. They do charge residents if they bring in garbage. I confirmed that with the secretary a couple weeks ago.
Then I have the audit revenue. Because you said you weren't seeing any revenue.
I didn't see, yes, let's go to the auditor. If you
So
want to explain that one, Sheila.
mine is, so the biggest revenue from my office is when I have city and school elections, because then they pay me for it. But other than that, if it's gonna be a general, then I just see revenues through transfer fees, passports, sale of plat books, just administrative fees and stuff like that. So I have $9,120 as revenue that will be brought in from the auditor's office.
And next fiscal year, you don't have any city and schools, so.
Nope.
Any questions on the county auditor's revenue? All right. Anything else that you gave us that I missed? Oh, data process.
Yeah, Denny gave me, he told me just keep the numbers from last
He
year. Are you
did.
guys okay with that?
So I talked to him and, we control that IT 52 department, which is contracted through Denny as our contractor, I guess. This is where we need to have that deep, because where are we at with this department? He said, I was there that day, Jake, just leave it all the same. And that's why we left it $313,000. Are we ready to move forward with something else? Are we getting what we want to see every month update from our current provider? Are we going out for a job offer? If so, we need to revamp this whole department. We would have to do wages and FICA and everything else. Again, this one's a big one to swallow because of the unknowns of the state of Iowa. You guys go read 2 of the study bills right now out there in property tax reform. This budget would go from 313 probably, if we added somebody, I would say easily add another 150,000.
I would agree.
So to go from 313 to 465. You guys want to see what it looks like next week, or this one's open yet for discussion?
Is that I want some pizza or you need me in there?
No, I want some pizza.
Any comments on the IT? I mean, we've heard it the last, 9 months? You want Sheila to prepare line items for a staff member? More for another provider like NGT or another provider that can be a backup to the current provider we use. Then we might have to add a little bit more to, where's Denny's contract out of? Services.
Yeah.
So data process services, should we move that 60,000 to 100,000?
Plus, I'm wondering for some other service. I mean, obviously, more than likely, if we are using another service, we wouldn't not be paying Denny, so we have
some room there.
But
far as equipment purchases, if we need to do something there.
Like example, some of the stuff in the sheriff's office would move here, is that where you're
Well,
going?
that or, different servers or whatnot.
So, like Jake had said, as long as we have the right service area and we don't go over the budget, we could increase it some and still use it.
So if we did move servers over here, we'd probably have to put a generator in.
So this will be the backup one. Yeah, this would be the day-to-day operation, and then the backup, I think, would be over there, you have the generator. Because we'll leave the same and put a little bit more room in there for future, this ain't for fluff, I'll clarify that, this is for future contracted services for
It's at least 20.
at least 20.
We've discussed everything that we need to change, and so I'd be okay with, I'd say put 40 in myself.
Which one are we gonna put it in, data processing services?
I think that'd be a good spot to put it if we go out to another provider, additionally to the current one we have. Put it that way.
I'm good at 40.
Add 40,
Yeah.
all right, so make that 100,000 for data process services, 42,100. Anything else with the IT data process 52 department budget? All right, then, is that all of them for today?
That's, I have clerk of court, but I would rather wait till tomorrow for that one. if you don't mind.
No, that's fine. We do have the sheriff's revenue, that was for discussion this morning. Yep, perfect.
And then the K-9, we should have that.
Yes, do that one too. Otherwise, finishing up on January 20th, I think all departments, thank you for getting them to us by the 20th. Sheila, thank you for getting us to us by the 20th also. Because we'll wrap up tomorrow with some budgets requests. I think we've seen and heard from everybody. I guess.
That's just my list.
Do you guys want, I think we had a consensus not to see soil and water.
Well, they still call, they want to come.
Oh, they're gonna come.
It's next week.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, that's
We
what
got
I
their
thought.
request already.
Yeah. But they called right after you told me don't call. Well,
So,
they-
question for the auditor, Sheila, please, where are we at then with the total combination of all budget requests? Are we close to a total?
Oh,
Not yet, next Monday, next Tuesday? Probably,
I've been putting them in as I get
Okay.
them, some is, and I've been asking the departments for it, in case I screwed something up.
wondering if we should send an email out for maybe just a revisit on ending fund balances, give back. I know some of them talked about it, Dave said 10,000, I believe, but I don't think we heard everybody's
Mhm.
ending fund potential.
Okay,
And, including our own, right? Otherwise, I think we're right on track. Remember, March 5th will be here before we know it. Just a follow-up, we have our 6 county meeting this Thursday. A very good one to attend if you guys can. Committee assignments. Travis?
Yeah. I had a, North Iowa juvenile detention on Friday. Went over projected budget for next year. They wanted to increase the starting wage. They approved by $1. Then they went and increased everybody else's wages by $1 and a 2% rate
On top of that?
on top of that.
Yeah.
They're raising detention rates. They wanna hire a new maintenance position. They've been, using outside companies, they wanna hire a part-time person.
All right, that's about it. Scott, anything?
Thursday, Upper Cedar River Watershed met by Zoom, with, it was the Nature Conservancy, to discuss a grant through the North American Wetlands Conservation and U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Was decided that we would sign off on their grant. It was also discussed about sending out to the boards of supervisors a request for funding. I'm not sure exactly where that's gonna go. I have a feeling we're probably gonna get it.
It's too late.
But, well, Upper Cedar River Watershed does not have a fiscal agent, so it doesn't matter. It can't be funded until there's a fiscal agent, so that's all I got.
I had 911, but you guys are all there.
Yeah. Steve?
I had a Upper Wapsie Watershed Management Authority on Tuesday, January 13th. We had the same Andrew Russ, the freshwater restoration specialist with the Nature Conservancy, they had ours too, and we did the same thing he did. And Dr. Martin St. Clair, University of Iowa, he had a presentation of state-wide surface water quality data to 2025 sampling season. A lot of results that to me didn't make a lot of sense in the direction things were going. We went through the watershed coordinator update, expense report, and funding request for 2027.
Did you say that was the 13th?
That was the 13th, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it? I had an EMA meeting Wednesday night. You guys all have that updated already. I have the agenda posted for CSS hosted by this county for Wednesday at 10 o'clock. The agenda says that is our last meeting, and just wanted to thank the boards for the past many years of mental health in Northeast Iowa. So should be a short one, wrap up the bills, and the state of Iowa has their checker ready for the unspent balance. Discuss future agenda items. Again, tomorrow we're gonna meet, I would assume Romans secondary roads will probably be 45 minutes, so maybe done by 10:30. Did we get all the watershed requests and the RC&D? Are those all entered?
Our C&D is,
What about that extra
That's-
$600?
him and I are going back and forth on who wants to come.
Okay.
And who would be, he has it all, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he has that one, but then he
Has
also
the turkey
includes
and,
turkey, $600 turkey one.
yeah, cause there's like 3 payments we made on.
Yeah, I think Wapsie, they asked for like 15, 20 or something. We gave them 600 last year.
So we'll compile, or Sheila will compile all those non-departments. We'll try to get that one wrapped up, but I think we need to see the overall. Scott requested to talk vision, future plans of buildings. I could see that for the 26th. And some of these nonprofits yet that are still coming in, but otherwise,
Are you guys thinking about having another meeting on the 27th now?
I don't see the need yet.
Okay.
I
I
think
would
we,
prefer not.
No, that's fine. One of the people asked about it, the budget, the non-departmental, and I didn't think you were going to, but I just wanted to ask to make sure.
the 29th is the statewide supervisor meeting. I think we'll learn a lot down there, some updates of some wall changes potential, and then I think February 2nd, we'll hit it hard to figure out where the max levies are. The only two that we have movement on is GS and RSB. If we want to stay at the max levy for RSB, or we can indeed lower that. GS will be the most movement, I think. Up or down, depending on request. Otherwise, that's it for us, I think. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So,
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Travis to adjourn at 12:13. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye, anybody opposed? Motion carried.